of civilization, Union still seeks to unite the human diaspora. But now, an edict, long since forgotten, can be heard again, scream from beyond the stars. Will humanity hear? Will we understand? For now, only one thing is certain. Our Lancers will respond when the Starcriers fly.
Hello and welcome back to RPGs Uncovered. We're back with another episode of the Starcrier Conflict. We've been off for a week, some of us relaxing, some of us otherwise. We are down one Midnight Inc. Q playing Desperado today. Might be back for the break. We'll see. He's currently at a Waffle House parking lot fighting Debbie. Hurricane. I'm going to be going down to my local Waffle House later in the evening and fighting Debbie as well. So hopefully we can get through the stream before she gets here. Yeah. That's a joke we were having in our Discord. It's a fun little Discord. All right. Yeah, we are back for another episode of the Starcrier Conflict, and we are ready to get our Lancers out on their next mission. But before we do that, a few quick announcements before we get going, and we'll say hi to our cast. So, as usual, if you are here watching live on Twitch, hello, and thank you for tuning in. You can scroll down and head over to the About tab, and we have a nice yellow and black banner for the Mayhem Meter. And that's the best way I can, it's a little collection fund. It's the best way I can think of to collect whatever we can to compensate these wonderful people for their time and energy and creativity that they give to me, not only during our shows, but throughout the week, and all the wonderful collaboration that I get with these wonderful people. So if you have the inclination and the money to do so, feel free to drop something in there, and that's the best way I can give back to these wonderful people. We also have a Ko-Fi. You can go check that out tonight, and I am determined to get an after show in after this game, because it's been a while, and I want to hear everybody's thoughts, and be able to share all those thoughts with you people, you wonderful supporters of our community. So you can go check that out. With that, I'm gonna leave it there. Of course, we have our usual stuff during intermission and our outro, so stay tuned for that. But right now, I'm excited to get on with actually a lot of stuff going on with this new mission. And we still need to get there first. So let's throw it over to our players.
Hello, I am players. I am Sean. I am playing August Walker, aka Solitaire, he, him all around over here. And if Debbie makes it to me, then the rest of y'all are basically SOL. I'm sorry. And I will remember you fondly.
I'm gonna fist fight Debbie in a parking lot. I swear to God. Anyways, hey, howdy, hi. I'm Haley. I'm back. I've missed you guys so much. Oh my God. But yes, I go by they, them, and I am playing tonight Siobhan Carey, aka Shiv, she, they. Ready to cause some chaos. You guys clearly haven't gotten enough of that in your diet recently, so I just have to double up. That's how that works, right?
Absolutely. I will say it feels a little weird going this early. I feel like we're definitely I'm feeling the gap for Q right now. Hi, I'm Andrew. I use he, him pronouns. I'm playing Athen Mishin, call sign Blacksmith, also uses he, him pronouns, and the pilot of the new Striker. because Blade 2 is no more. Blade 2 got eaten. But I will say, just really quick, to quote one of my favorite mecha media of all time, I feel like if you're being a Lancer, you feel like you can fight the Hurricane and win.
Hey, y'all.
Pierce Evans.
Hey, y'all. It's Drake Lionheart. I go by they, he pronouns. And tonight I will be John Tavick Creighton Vasier Harrison IV, who uses he, him, they, them pronouns and is just a little ball of sad, haunted nonsense. But we're working on it. It's a process. We'll see how it goes. Yeah. Oh, piloting Ascendant, because similarly Throne also got aided and it's very sad.
All right. Always miss something in preparation. This time, my background's fallen down. All right. Yes. Hello once again. I am Jack, the GM here at RPGs Uncovered, usually up here doing the GM thing. Though I have some fun announcements for our after show, so stay tuned. Yes, he, they, playing everybody else, and let's do a quick recap, because we're coming to the end of our little slice of life series here on Far Station 12. It's been a time after the last episode, not the last episode, but the last mission that they went on, coming face to face with their first baby, Starcrier. Not that they know it by that name just yet. But that led everybody to really think about life. The galaxy as they know it is potentially under a very serious threat. So thinking inward about themselves and what's important, the people around them, who they care for, and ways to show that. We had a breakup, we had a marriage, we had a reunion with a father, long overdue. And with all of that, they've unlocked new frames, which is helpful because their previous mechs had been completely scrapped, melted down, supposedly. Part of the first contact alien protocols, because aliens really aren't a thing, as far as most people are concerned, in the Lancer setting. So they had to build entirely new frames anyway, so it's fortuitous that they unlocked their second license levels and now have their own dedicated bespoke frames. However, while they were doing that, Shiv was mysteriously unavailable. Siobhan Carey, our resident goblin cat, as was coined last episode. Despite several attempts to reach out, even going as far as to visit their quarters, they were nowhere to be found. So let's see what they're up to first, as we jump into tonight's episode of the Starcrier Conflict. Our camera will pick up, actually, not with Siobhan, but over top of a battlefield. On the scrapyard, we see our Lancers fighting in a furious battle. Several of them damaged, some of them stunned, chaos erupting all around them. They are fighting against frames that seem to be capable of disappearing, reappearing, blinking between short distances, firing refracting lasers, bouncing off of each other, creating webs of destruction across the entire battlefield as these little, almost drone-like things fly around, hacking into the Lancers and shooting out interdiction shots, all while wave after wave of breachers try to break through their line and damage the facility that they are trying to protect. And as the battle rages on there, a battle we know that's a sort of test bed exercise for their new frames. Nobody's actually in danger. But as the battle rages on, our camera will float upward through the transparent duratanium dome of the scrapyard and slowly pivot across the stars. And as it does on our screens, we see sometime earlier. The camera will pivot back to Far Station 12, the dual-ringed centrifugal space station floating out in the middle of nowhere, really. No planets, no stars, just out in the middle of this expanse. And the camera will zoom down into the civilian ring through its own transparent walls, down winding streets to a pub, a bar that has become quite familiar to us. Frank's. This is, of course, again, sometime earlier, and I imagine this being a place that the group has visited quite regularly, that it's somewhere that, Siobhan, you would find yourself just grabbing a meal.
100% addicted to those fries.
Mm-hmm. Whether you're there with somebody or whether you simply have a data pad as your companion for this meal, which I assume is more likely. You have a drink, you have some fries, delicious, warm, crispy fries. Working on something. And after a short time, before you even finish your first drink, one of the waitstaff comes over and places down another drink. One you didn't order, not even the same thing you're drinking. It's a Haggis Hops IPA. A Sunset
Ooh.
IPA. Yeah, not really your drink,
No.
but it is served on top of a napkin. And on the napkin, you can see, as you pick up your drink, underneath the bottle, between that rim of condensation, you can see scrawled out, "Please disengage your AR and head to the bathrooms."
Okay. Haley's like, this is weird as shit. Why would you ever do this? Shiv has now had multiple encounters with a floating potato with sunglasses.
Not sunglasses, regular glasses. Almost
Regular
like
glasses.
cartoon Jack and Dexter big.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
That's
big
even
glasses.
better.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, Shiv's had multiple like weird experiences with the spectator. I hate that so much every time I say it, and yet I also love it.
I gotta make that an emote.
You gotta. I'll make you something. I'll make you something later. And goes like fumbles with the drink. He's like, ew, gross. Sees it and like perks up, and almost without hesitation will do as requested. Disengages the AR, and then like politely excuses themselves from the table.
All right. You can head back through a small crowd. There's a sort of L-shaped corridor that goes down to a series of unisex restrooms. And as you turn the corner, you actually see a familiar face. This is, of course, I looked up his name earlier, and I'm blanking. Your probation officer. This is Officer Malcolm Santita.
Santita.
For a reminder, he is, at this point, because it's been 20 years since we started our show, for him, at least, late middle-aged or so. I feel every time I have to justify ages in this game to remind everyone that human lifespan has been extended out closer to 2 centuries rather than less than 1. But somewhere in appearance-wise, and is at this point probably late 40s, early 50s, relatively put together, but you can see he's getting a bit of that dad bod. Little bit of a gut. He's not as toned as he was, presumably, before.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of a 5 o'clock shadow at this point, but otherwise well put together. as you turn the corner, and even really as you are turning the corner, he reaches out and grabs your arm gently, not forcefully by any means, but gently, sort of nods in your direction and says, "Take a walk with me, kid."
At this point, this is when Shiv's like, "Oh, it's weird."
Yeah, he's never reached out to you like this.
No. Not your usual calling card. What's happening? Are you actually gonna murder me this time? Did I fuck up that bad?
He just gives you a look like, "What?" And
Like, I know I'm
kind of
annoying, but like,
pats your arm and just walks past you.
okay. Well, commit to the bit, I guess. I guess I'm following him.
All right. He doesn't say anything as the two of you cross the bar and head outside, breaking into the now much more crowded pedestrian streets of the station, at least much more crowded than it was when we first started our story. An influx of people from out in the diaspora and other Rim World Union planets coming in either to live here on Far Station 12 or simply as a stop along the way heading back inwards. But you break out into the crowd of the streets here before he drops his pace and walks in line with you.
So, what's happening?
I should be asking you the same thing, Siobhan. What have you gotten yourself into?
That's not fair. You know that you're not allowed to like get me to incriminate myself.
You do see he is in plain clothes, though I imagine that does
Okay.
not change your remark.
No, not at all.
He sort of tugs at this sort of clearly old button-up shirt. It's pressed. It's nice looking, but it's clearly old. You can see a little fraying in the stitches. It's definitely a decade or a few out of style. And he just sort of tugs where his name tag / badge would be. Off the clock, kid.
Are you trying to lull me into a false sense? Again, entrapment is illegal. You can't do that.
Just sort of pinches the bridge of his nose and sighs.
If you wanted me to think that this was casual, you shouldn't have been a weird person in the bar.
Right. Well, not exactly casual, but I hope you know, Siobhan, at this point, that I've tried to be on your side throughout this whole ordeal, and you don't always make it easy for me. But
Yeah, no, I get that.
your name's popping up again, and not along the usual channels.
Okay. So what, people are talking about me?
Some high-level administrators are looking into you.
Okay, well, may I remind the court that I have saved some high-level administrators from a fucking meteor.
Right, I'm sure your service record will be taken into account of whatever it is they are discussing. I will tell you right now, I don't know exactly what they are talking about. But I don't believe it's involved with the case file that I am associated with.
Should I be scared?
You tell me, Siobhan. You have any idea what this is about?
No. I haven't done anything. I haven't had the chance.
I notice a little smirk from Haley there. Is Siobhan purposely playing dumb? Or are you simply not putting together what could be a number of weird circumstances with what he is talking about?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of she genuinely hasn't made a connection to anything especially weird. Nothing that would like warrant Santita being like weird like this back. And so that's kind of making them panic a little bit, and they're not really connecting all the dots. And they're also playing a little extra dumb because they have absolutely been doing things that Santita would not approve of.
Okay, so those are two different but overlapping mind states right now. So I
Yeah.
will simply ask you if you feel
Mhm.
like you need to roll some sort of deception or composure type ability. Check. You know your character better than I and what is in their head.
Yeah. I think the motives are mixed, but Santita has known them long enough to know when he should sniff around
Mhm.
than being suspicious about what he needs to be aware of. So I do think I should probably roll something.
Okay.
So let's see. I don't have anything that will help me with this.
Yeah, I didn't
so-
think so.
No. I have been amazing in that I've taken not a single social skill.
Yeah?
And I
Hackers don't
don't
need
think
social
I
skills.
ever will.
Yeah.
Nope. Oh, okay. A flat 16.
Okay. You keep yourself composed.
As
Somewhere
opposed to shit
between
dance.
confused and trying not to be suspicious about
Mhm.
why you are confused. All right, well, I hope you know that this is well outside my jurisdiction and probably what's the term here? Conflict of and possibly probably a conflict of interest. But it's not associated. From what I understand, because I hope I would be looped in if it was involving your particular case file. But I've not been. And in
Why
an effort,
did they send you?
nobody sent me, Siobhan.
And what are you doing here?
That's what I'm trying to tell you, kid. I'm here because I actually give a shit whether about your life. Still on the fence about whether you do or not. But until you do, I'm going to at least try to keep you held up on the fence. At least until you become too burdensome. But that's not why I'm here, Siobhan. I saw something weird, something that didn't immediately conflict with what I am working on with you. And in an effort to help ensure that you stay on the straight and narrow, to let you know. So if you have anything warranting discussion that I can help with, well, we're walking in the same direction. We're off the clock, we're off the book. If not,
Gotcha.
maybe I can still turn around and enjoy that drink.
For the first time in this conversation, Shiv goes quiet, and it's clear that they are genuinely considering what he is saying. A lot of their interactions are him saying genuine things and Shiv brushing it off. But this time, she stops a little, thinks. I think your beer is getting warm.
Sort of
You might want to head
throws
back.
his hands up. All right. See you in our next appointment. spins on his heel and starts walking away. Do we see
She'll
Siobhan?
stomp off in the other. She stomps off in the other direction.
Okay. Where are you headed?
I think I'm headed back to my room. If he's invaded my space elsewhere and now she's mad about it, she's gonna go home.
Yeah. All right. You do have to take a shuttle from the civilian ring back up to the Navy ring, because, again, they don't let you live off campus, as it were. And you can make your way to, for lack of a better word, your, I mean, it's not really barracks living, you have your own space, but your quarters. Make your way back to that large, flat, gray rectangle of a building, and walk inside, up some stairs, down some corridors, turn down the hallway of your room, and standing in front of your room are 2 Navy military police officers.
Ooh.
Who turn in your direction as they see you start making the way down the hallway, and they walk in your direction. Casually, not threatening. They do have sidearms, obviously, but they're not, gripping them at all. They're just walking up to you as casual as a police officer can.
Which is suspicious as fuck in Shiv's mind. Cool. We're gonna casually walk past. Or try to.
Before you even get within, 5 feet or so, they will hold their hand out. Siobhan Carey, you are requested for a meeting. We are here to escort you.
Is this a meeting where if I say no, you're gonna have to make me say yes?
I apologize. I was trying to be courteous. Request is not exactly correct. You are ordered to report for a debriefing, as far as I understand.
Well, that is what I figured. Thank you for the info. Let's go.
The one talking with you just gives you a curt nod, walks past you in front of you. The other one just sort of casually keeps pace, a step or two behind you. Probably, you get the sense that they are here to escort you, and they're trying their hardest not to make it seem like they are escorting you.
Okay. Chip will just lean over to the guy walking next to him, just, so, do you have any idea what's happening, or are you just on a fetch quest?
We're just here to get you from one point to another, man.
Do you know who else is going to be at the meeting?
I do not.
Yeah, Shiv's bad habit comes back out, and she's going to start chewing on her nails as she walks.
Okay. They don't engage with you further. In fact, it doesn't take long. They walk you out of the building, down towards a larger street where there is a transport vehicle that will take you on a bit of a ride, actually.
Oh, jeez.
And it's into a part of the station that you haven't been to before.
Mm-mm.
Just playing around with volume here. All right, yeah, down into a part of the station that you've not been to before. Not exactly sure what it's about. It doesn't look sketchy at all. It just looks like more Union Navy administrative buildings and whatnot. But we'll take you down to yet another relatively flat, light gray building. Walk you inside into straight into a hallway. Actually, there's no reception room or anything. Just straight into a hallway. Equally Spartan. down another corridor, and will open up a door. Stand in front of a swoosh door as it opens up for you, and will simply motion for you to walk inside. Inside, you see it is another light gray, empty room with a table, 2 chairs.
Ooh. Hate that. I'm gonna remain standing. Okay, I'm just gonna poke around, I guess. I'm assuming that's the only thing that's in this room.
Yeah.
Cool. Shiv's gonna become instantly reminded of the last time they were locked in a room with nothing to do. Just gonna pace.
All right. Yeah, you walk in the room, and almost immediately the door behind you. You can pace back and forth behind one of the chairs. The walls are blank. There's no indication that you are supposed to sit in one or the other of the chairs, but you pace back and forth, and they keep you there for a bit. 5, 10, 15 minutes, maybe. You realize walking into this place, any sort of external feed that you had to the outside has been cut off. You probably have, a basic, non-Omninet linked, clock app or something. So you can keep vague track of the time. But after about 15 minutes or so, the door does swoosh open once again, and inside walks an individual in a flat black suit, sort of high collar in that sort of military suit fashion. They walk straight past you without regarding you at all and stand in the opposite corner of the room, as far away from the door as possible. In the corner, simply look from one corner, past the door to the other corner, along the wall, straight past you, no regard at all, to the other corner, and then turn to look just above the table. Not at you, just stands there looking just above the table.
Okay.
You see this individual, along with the suit, relatively lightly tanned skin, very average facial features, cleanly shaven. The only unusual thing about him is that he has these sort of these very sci-fi glasses, almost Morpheus from the Matrix glasses that just sort of clip on your nose. They don't go back to lay on the ears. Just sort of clips onto the nose, but instead of it just being those circles, they actually wrap around the eyes, almost like a sort of gray alien sort of vibe.
Okay, cool.
Other than that, he's not baby-faced, but he doesn't have a particularly chiseled jaw or anything. His nose is flat, his skin is clean, lightly tanned. He has a very basic, short, brown, slightly styled hair, and simply stands there with his arms sort of clasped behind his back. Just stands there for not even a minute. But you can tell, just looking at this individual, confused. Yeah, it is confusing. Somebody walked in, paid absolutely no regard to you, and is just standing there. But you can see he is breathing. He shows the telltale signs of a living human being. He's breathing. Every now and then he moves a shoulder or a knee just to keep it from getting stiff, or at least you will see that in the intervening moments. But pays no mind to you. And as you're standing there, sort of looking at this guy quizzically, the door swooshes open again, and in walks a woman in not in the same type of suit, but in a much more, well, less imposing suit.
Mm.
The other one is very Men in Black, just flat
Yeah.
black suit. She walks in. It has accents of Union light gray. It has a little bit more stylizing to it. She has this sort of stark dyed red hair, a clearly distinctive feature that the other individual lacks any of, tied up into a sort of high ponytail. Comes over, motions towards the chair, and even before you sit down, we'll take a seat, pull out a data pad, extend some little antenna off of it, and just sort of clear your throat and look in your direction. Again,
Okay.
motioning to take a seat along the other side of the table.
Just gonna have a closer eye on this guy that's standing in the corner. That's kind of weird. I can kind of safely assume with those glasses he might be seeing something that's being projected for him onto the table.
Perhaps.
Okay. Gives a little bit of the VR vibe. He'll take a seat a little reluctantly. It's kind of weird.
Please
Everything's a
state
little
your
new
name
right
for the
now.
record.
Ooh. Which record?
She just sort of gives you that eyebrow, like, I'm not answering that question.
Hey, so, legally you're supposed to disclose a few things before you do stuff like this?
I'm a representative of the Union Administrative District under an investigation.
What are you investigating?
You.
Fantastic.
Currently.
Give me a subset. There's a couple investigations in me. Which one?
Interesting. I am under no legal obligation to inform you of such. However, I do need you to state your name for the record.
Is this conversation legally binding?
She just stares at you.
Ah. As you can tell, it's not my first rodeo. Siobhan Carey.
Thank you. How would you like to be addressed? I like to keep these friendly. You notice she doesn't, I wouldn't say she has a stoic expression, but there's a clear difference. I wouldn't say clear difference. There's a subtle difference that Siobhan might pick up on. I don't know how, at least judging from your skills, how good you are at reading people. But for others who may be, there is a subtle distinction between the focus in her eyes and just a slight inviting, just sort of upturn of the lips, a very basic smile.
Okay. Yeah, she's not really great at reading people, but they have been in multiple interrogations and interviews before. So they'll kind of settle a little bit more into their chair. They had been kind of like perched at the edge, like ready to stand up and like go. But they'll sit back a little. Siobhan works.
Very well.
And your name?
Thank you, Siobhan. You can call me Sam.
Sam. Okay.
So, Siobhan. I usually like to simply begin with getting to know who I am talking with. But I sense that you are being particularly helpful in this moment. Forthcoming. And I won't abuse that by trying to run you in circles. So, I will simply start our conversation by asking, have you had any unusual new contacts of late?
Unusual. Define unusual.
Anything that is not usual.
What you and I consider usual probably differs.
Most certainly. Anything you would consider unusual.
Oh, I gotta make a choice right now. This is Haley speaking.
Mhm.
Okay. Sure. Yeah, actually. An arcade game got hacked, and it talked to me.
It talked to you.
Well, not talked. It did weird shit that was clearly communication from some other source.
Do you have any understanding of who this source might be?
Oh, absolutely not.
Very well. I believe there is some truth to that. Some.
I have
Should-
an idea of what might be talking to me, but that's different.
Please go on.
Know anything about Horus?
That was indeed my next question, Siobhan.
Nice.
And the camera will sort of freeze frame at that moment, and we will see a short montage of how this discussion is going to go, because we don't need to be here and play out a 2-hour interrogation, because that's the entire stream. But you are held here, and you are asked the same question in different ways over and over and over again. A series of these questions, but before moving on to the next one, they ask a very similar question. And then they'll move on to a different topic, and then sometimes go back to something they've already asked you and ask that question again in a slightly different way.
Mm-hmm.
But they seem to be very interested in what your relationship might be with anything you might even vaguely consider Horus.
Fun. Okay.
Without playing this out, and if you'd like, we could do one or more rolls. But what would you divulge? What do we see in these short snippets of questions and responses?
For sure. I think, considering everything else about Shiv and how like weird and shifty they are in general, they are almost uncharacteristically truthful. They divulge just about everything. The weird communication with the arcade game, the letter that they got from their requisition of their first piece of Horus tech, and the fact that they intend to use the tech that they have received.
Okay.
Shiv sees no point in hiding what they intend to openly use in their work as a Lancer.
All right.
But yeah.
Yeah. When you bring up the letter you received when you got your first license level, that was certainly not the Morning Cloak? Duskwing.
Mm-hmm.
In bringing that up, you do see that they play around with their tablet, likely linking into that system.
Mm-hmm.
And if you recall, at the bottom of that letter, instead of a signature, there was the picture of the horse potato in the big, cartoon scientist glasses. Do you tie that theme together and say, spectator here, he's popped up on my computer every now and then. He was in
Absolutely
the game.
not.
No. Okay.
No.
Okay.
That is a lead that Shiv considers theirs. They can go hunting for Horus all they want and know that Horus is connected to Shiv in some way, but that feels like something that is specific to them.
All right.
And they're going to keep it that way.
So, there's a few moments throughout this where I think it's clear that they poke in a certain direction and you twitch away from it. But for most of the conversation, as you said, you're fairly forthcoming, and Sam seems appreciative of this. Though this does go on, again, for a while, talking about very specific things, very technical things, even. Things that really point out that she is a very experienced and learned individual. She knows a lot about computers, and she knows a lot about mechanics and how frames work and how programming works, even to a degree that sometimes trips you up.
Excited.
But this goes on for a while. To the point where they seem to keep you oscillating between frustration back towards more or less comfortable forthrightfulness, and then into tired before they swing the pendulum back the other way. But after probably about 2 hours or so, the door opens all of a sudden. And you don't realize, but the room seems to have slowly decreased in luminosity in the time you've been here, sort of backlighting the doorway as just this opening of light that shines in. And as it opens up, you can hear down in the hallway, "Ma'am, you have to wait for authorization." As you see a silhouette of a woman in the doorway who simply strides on in. You can see this is Commander Ronica Leary. Her hair, her long, shiny black hair, tied back in that sort of executive power bun she likes to wear. Her stark, light, again, Union light gray, pressed suit, lacking much in the way of decorations or medals or anything, but still very clearly a distinguishing feature. Yes, distinguished, in charge, commanding presence to her. Walks in. You can see there's some sort of guard MP, whoever it may be, in the background. Sort of taken a step into the doorway as well. Moves to put a hand on her shoulder and then thinks better of it. She simply takes 2 strides into the room and says, "This interview is over. Siobhan?"
Hey.
Nods in your direction.
Perfect.
Sam
Without
here.
even acknowledging Sam, Shiv will stand up and go, "Okay, yeah, Mom's here."
Yep.
Gotta go.
Sam here in a unusual display of actual frustration throughout this entire endeavor. Sort of takes a deep breath in, closes her eyes, and sighs a bit. Turns, and as she's about to argue, she notices that you are already up and walking back behind the commander, and simply shakes her head.
Yeah, Shiv knows when somebody's outranked. They're very used to that feeling facing them. But it's like, no, commander's here. Cool. Nope. That's the end of it.
Okay.
Oh, hey, Sam. Do you have like a card or anything I should take with me?
Yes. She reaches into pocket in her jacket that you didn't even notice was there. She sort of tugs on it, and it must have been this like micro thin cut in the fabric. Just sort of tugs on it,
Crazy.
reaches in, and pulls out what looks to be about the size of a small, flat, gray metal business card, for lack of a better word. It is really just like a shiny gunmetal gray business card with a series of numbers and letters on it, and basically like a futuristic QR code, basically. Something to scan that will give information.
Fantastic.
Hands it over to you. If you would like to continue our discussion.
Thanks.
She
Stick it in the
nods,
pocket.
looks back over to the commander, and you, even not being all that good at reading people, can tell she wants to say something. You're not sure what. She doesn't look mad. She doesn't look confused. You're not really sure what she looks. She's very good
She looked
at keeping the
disappointed.
face. Perhaps. She looks interrupted. But, again, nods to you, turns back to the commander, nods at the commander, and Leary just turns on a heel, walks out the door.
Cool. I'm gonna follow after her like a lost puppy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna wait until we make it out of this area, essentially, that I've been led into, probably until we're out in the open,
Yeah.
and just
Again, this has just been a series of hallways. You've not been in a room bigger than the small one you've just been in since entering this building. And she takes you down this series of hallways. And you actually notice that you go down fewer hallways than you took to get to that room.
they did it on purpose. I knew it. Actually, no, Shiv says that out loud. Just they do it on purpose.
The commander makes no response to that and simply continues walking until you are outside of the building. Takes a few more paces forward, simply turns on a heel. Siobhan, please go about the rest of your day.
Did I do anything wrong by talking to them?
No, certainly not.
But you didn't like that I was doing it, or that they did it to me.
She sort of puts her hands together, like I'm doing now, the tips of her fingers touching, and looks down and towards the side as if she's contemplating how she wants to respond to that. They decided to go about this without consulting all of the proper channels.
Ooh. Okay.
If that is all, I encourage you to continue your day. I do believe we will be having a briefing soon, however. And I believe, actually, she pulls up a pad. The rest of your team is currently on exercise with their new equipment. Perhaps you still have time to join them.
Thanks for all of that. Goodbye. Shiv just fucking leaves.
You see the slightest sort of smirk to her as she just sort of gives you a slightly tilted nod and you know, turns and walks off. Actually turns and walks off towards a very sleek looking like hover car sort of thing parked just outside the building.
Incredible. What a woman.
So, with that, As you walk one direction and this hover car takes off, I think we're going to pivot back and forth between both of them before flying off down past Siobhan's shoulder, out of the civilian ring, and we spin back towards out of the civilian ring and actually curving back up into. Actually, you're not in the civilian ring. You are in the Navy
I'm
ring.
not.
So it's just going to fly past your shoulder and down into the hangar bay, down through the hangar bay doors, and out towards the scrapyard, where we see 4 little, burning blips in the distance.
My boy.
Presumably, yep, the boys making their way back.
Amazing.
And there'll be a bit of a cut. Take a quick commercial, perhaps, and then back into the hangar bay. We see, actually.
Can I do something?
Just before I establish this next scene?
It's no. Go ahead. Go
Okay.
ahead.
Of course, the what's the term I'm looking for? Egress. Where you launch your mechs from and then subsequently land them is not the same as where you work on them, so that people can work on them without the whole bay becoming depressurized all of a sudden. So the lot of you get back from your exercise. Your mechs are beat to hell. And I think we're going to leave how exactly that exercise went sort of ambiguous, though I imagine you will talk about it. I'll leave that to you. But it was trying. They threw a lot of stuff at you, a lot of unusual things that you've not seen before. Those strange sort of disappearing, blinking units with their refracting lasers that they could tie together. That's you've not seen stuff like that before. But you can make your way back, and I think we see the 4 of you. Let me actually set this up in our overlay here. Get back to the. Alright, we'll put this up, and we have Siobhan over in the corner doing their thing, and we will see Desperado, who I will keep down in the corner under Q's little box there. But we see Desperado, Starblood, Solitaire, and Blacksmith making their way in through the door leading into the actual hangar bay. This is more of the engineering bay. Now, please, Lion.
I think as they come in, Tavik is in the middle of a statement, looking over at Athen, and is like, "Invisibility does not make me a coward."
Right. See, the thing though is that you make it so the rest of us are the ones that are most likely getting shot. So
Yes, and while they're busy focusing on you, who clearly can take it, look at that thing. I am able to come around, set them
Right,
on
enough,
fire, and
you
deal with
two,
them.
Desperado. I can't do Q's voice. Enough, you two. After every single one of these, you have to bicker. I'm done with it. That was some bullshit. I need a shower.
I'm gonna look up at Striker, and you can see like where it goes. Left arm is entirely missing, and there's smoke just rising off of it. You know, I gotta say though, for a field test, not too bad.
Yeah, your mechs are all beat up. You guys look exhausted. You are drenched in sweat. You have helmet hair. You probably have those off slung to your side, trying to like air yourself out at the moment as you walk into the hangar bay. You see, you of course see Siobhan there, and Siobhan, you in this time have had just enough time to start printing your next license level. And as that is printing, again, this doesn't look like the Duskwing at all. In fact, it looks like it's printing out like exosuit pieces, like just hard suit pieces. like these weird greenish, bumpy things sticking off of them, parts of a suit for you to wear.
Oh my god.
And it doesn't.
The moment it's the first layer that doesn't come out looking like the Duskwing, they are sitting crisscross applesauce in front of this printer, just watching.
Just
Have you ever seen a cat like staring at a washing machine? That's what's happening.
You are our
I feel
goblin
like
cat.
just like yes, I am familiar. I'm gonna like slug my. I'm just gonna like peel off like my jacket and my hard suit and everything like that. Like take a really long drink of water and then just kind of like kneel down like kind of next to Shiv. So what you looking at?
You smell gross.
Yeah, well that's okay. Look, I feel better than I smell at least. So.
Will like push at your face to get you to move back, and then realizes you're sweaty and goes,
Yeah. Yeah.
Ugh.
Mood.
Gross. I'm printing on my license level. Oh my goodness.
I just like take some of my water, just like spray it like over my face, kind of thing.
You could take an actual shower.
I mean, I could, but also we missed you for practice.
Yeah, no, it's a little busy.
As you turn to regard Athen here, you see Logan in the background just sort of turn, sort of like tip an invisible hat to you. Glad to see you're well, Shiv.
Good to see
Walks
you're
out.
reasonable. And taking a shower.
As he turns and walks out the door, he just gives you that sort of wave from behind.
Incredible.
Busy with what?
I couldn't think of a good lie fast enough. I was being interrogated.
Okay, what the fuck did you do?
I didn't do anything. They were asking about this.
Has this got anything to do with potato?
No. No, unfortunately not. Yeah.
Nope. No.
Thankfully.
Potatoes. Okay.
And what
Okay.
is this?
Yeah. What is this? It looks like a spiky little ball of whatever. That ain't big enough for.
Suit.
You gonna fit in that?
Look,
Yeah.
if anyone's gonna fit in that, it's gonna be Shiv.
Well, you
The
sure as
little-
hell ain't fitting in it.
So the machine, coincidentally, I'm not pulling any weird Paracauls nonsense here, but for dramatic timing for our show, the machine
yeah.
dings, and the first piece of this, the actual exosuit itself, is done, and it'll lift out with a small crane and move it over besides the machine, and you can see it really does look like a large hard suit, like loader sort of thing. Like Ripley was driving when she fought the aliens, just smaller.
Yeah.
But it fits you perfectly.
Hell yeah. Oh my god.
Perfectly. No adjustments needed.
Yeah.
It is adjustable, but no adjustmustments needed.
Yeah.
And then it starts
Yeah.
working on something else as you continue the conversation.
What model
I'm
is
like-
this?
I don't know. I just know it's Horus. That's fucking cool. Like, look at it. Should I be worried about how they got my measurements?
I mean,
No, I'm not gonna do that.
I mean, you want my honest opinion? The fact that like this is the second time this has happened now, I feel like should be a little worrying.
I
Maybe a touch.
am incredibly reluctant to say this. I think for the second time in a few weeks, but Athen and I are in agreement.
Ding!
Most all
Next piece is
three
done.
of you. Oh,
Which is really quick, actually. You open up the printer, and you see there is a potato and a pair of glasses.
oh my god. Shiv will
I
pick
knew
it
it.
up. Okay, so it was about the potato. Okay, I just.
And the machine
I don't
closes
know,
down
potato.
and starts printing the next piece.
What? There's more. Here,
It's
hold
like a
this.
bobblehead potato. But on
Just
the
gonna
dash.
pass it off to somebody.
I'm just gonna look at it, just confused.
It's a
Put the
potato.
glasses on it. I'm busy.
Like it's an actual potato, which is
Oh, a real
strange
potato?
because there shouldn't be, like, or like
Panic.
organic, nutritional printer materials in here, but it looks like a real potato. Feels like a real potato. It smells like a real potato.
I will say I'm going to like take the glasses and I'm going to like kind of like pin them like into the sides of it so it's like stuck up, and I'm going to put it over in Shiv's station.
Perfect. I'm gonna have to worry about that rotting later, I guess. But no, Shiv is already trying to like get into the suit and see how it fits. Perfect, obviously.
Perhaps it would make more sense before you. All right.
Simply not listening.
I'm not sure sense has much to do with this.
Which is why it's concerning.
Yeah, no, they brought me to a weird room where some lady was asking me questions about Horus Tech and like how involved I am and if I know where it's coming from and all that, and I told them I didn't know anything, but I did tell them that I would be using it in the field, so.
I mean, last I heard you didn't really know anything, so.
Nope. I got to be like honest and stuff. It was really weird. It makes the whole process of being interrogated like far more boring because you are telling them things and they're just not really like they're listening, but they're not listening.
Do you really think that it's a good or safe idea to take equipment that you haven't tested, aren't completely sure how it works or where it's come from, or what the intention of those who sent it to you is?
Jack, in the time since, especially getting the autopod, would it have been possible for me to look into other instances of specifically Lancers getting Horus Tech?
Sure. Vaguely. Yeah. I will tell you, I mean, you've had time on the station, weeks, if not months on the station. We don't have to play everything out. Yeah, you would know there are stories out there of lowercase L Lancers, unaffiliated with Union, unaffiliated with the Navy, who have had Horus Tech of various degrees, whether it's just a weapon here or there, whether it's an actual frame, whether it's a whole license level or multiples worth, whether it's just a weird toaster or something. But it seems most, if not all, of the stories don't have any connection to anyone officially connected to Union or the Union Navy.
Okay. And then I guess more importantly, to throw back at Tavik, are there any stories specifically of like Horus Tech due to the tech itself doing harm to somebody who uses it once given?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Perfect.
Like there are definitely, see, anything Horus related is usually presented like campfire ghost stories. You're not getting scientific reports about these things. You are getting folktales. You are getting, my brother's friend's mercenary company's leader's newest arrival. They knew somebody in their last company that had a Horus Tech, yada yada. It's presented in third-hand, fourth-hand, fifth-hand accounts of things, or otherwise in like ghost stories or fairy tales, or never with anything that sounds entirely credible. But there are horror stories about Horus Tech just melting people's brains out their nose, or they get inside it and they blink out of existence and they're never seen again. Or they put a piece of toast in the toaster and then turn around and they give themselves a piece of toast.
Bonkers. Okay, cool. Yeah, Shiv, as they're like strapping in essentially to the suit, it is like mind their own business, will very casually be like, there are no quantitative studies of there ever being an actual accident with Horus Tech outside of a bad mouth propaganda piece. So, Mr. Harrison Armory, you can go ahead and shove it while I have fun with my new toy, because data that is not quantitative does not matter. Thank you very much.
I will also remind you that your autopod felt wet when it wasn't, And while you were carrying it, to nobody else, but while you were carrying it, you heard a little hum.
Yeah.
In the back of your head. Just as a reminder.
It's sung to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's fine. That's fine. It's like a little cat. It purrs to me. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
I will say, though, counterpoint to Tavik here, is that given what we're going to be going up against, I'd say that we also use any advantage that we can get. So if that's weird Horus shit, why not?
I'm not sure not knowing how to use your hardware is an advantage. But
Do you wanna
I
help me
recognize
figure it
when
out?
I'm not going, what?
Do you want to help me figure it out then? If that's the complaint, if you're just complaining that I don't know how to use something, which is a valid complaint, then the least you could do is help me train with it.
Ting. Next piece is done.
Hmm?
There's a helmet. Looks like a helmet, or pieces of a helmet that you can put together.
Absolutely
Question.
puzzling that together.
Am I able to pull up the schematics that are printing on my tablet if I tried to send them over?
Siobhan, do you give him access to that because that is coded to your licensing profile?
Interesting. Yeah, sure.
If
why not?
Tavik would ask.
Oh, I think when the will you help me figure it out is asked, he sort of almost walks past them over to it and looks at her almost expectantly with his hand like hovering over it.
Okay, fine. Technically, I asked. Fine. Yeah, here. And then gives him access.
Okay.
So to be clear, he is going to essentially create a quarantine zone in his pad to ensure that it's not just free roaming throughout his data.
Give me a hack roll.
Sure, yeah, I have nothing for that. Let's go.
Have fun, buddy.
Very exciting.
What is this, Buddy Junior? I think this is Buddy Junior.
That is a 2.
Awesome.
Oh my god.
I will take note of that. So you
Great.
download this onto your tablet, and it takes a little bit to download. Longer than it should, really, unless this is a really big file. But downloads onto your tablet, and you pull it up, and it is utter nonsense. Not in the fact that it's just like fragmented code and symbols and weirdness. All of the words are actual words, and some of the sentences are even complete sentences, but they don't make any sense when you put them together. You got like
Wonderful.
part of an apple pie recipe, and then part of somebody's dissertation about stellar wind phenomenon, and it's just bits and pieces of a whole bunch of nonsense slapped together, and little diagrams that you can't make any rhyme or reason out of.
So he's just going to sort of fiddle with it for a couple of moments, and you can see his fingers just sort of typing in the air as he goes. And then eventually, they will just sort of close their fist. You'll see the screen sort of go black. I hope. And then he will look over at Shiv and go, humor me. Were there any quantitative studies at all? Wonderful.
I will say,
It's fine.
actually, give me there's not like a research roll, right? We've so far just been using like
No.
hacking, right?
Not really. I mean,
Heck.
you can.
We could make it into one.
Yeah, you can make triggers in
Yeah.
this game,
Let's make a research.
or you could do investigate. There's an investigate.
Investigate would probably investigate would be what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I found it. It specifically says research your subject.
There you go. Investigate.
Yep.
Still
Hey.
learning all the skill triggers. I assume that's not one you have though. Is it?
I certainly don't.
Okay. Yeah. So you give me just a flat roll, then.
Okay.
Because what I
Am I
told you
getting
before was
assistance?
just surface level stuff. Assistance. I mean, now that everybody is back, if you want to take some time to do some research. It would sort of forestall this conversation a little bit, but you could collectively do research. But if you would just like to know what you've known,
particular, I do have that particular skill trigger too. So,
Ooh, there we go. Okay, yeah. We want to take a minute and be like, okay, Tavic's on one. Let's do it.
Okay. Actually, go ahead and give me one roll just flat, and then give me a roll again with a point of accuracy on it. One to represent what you've already come across, and then you're pretty much redoing the test with assistance.
Gotcha. Okay, the first was only a 9.
Yeah, you have what I've already told you.
Yeah. Oh, much better. Dirty 20.
Okay. This is going to take some time to actually put together. Some pieces take longer than you expect them to take, and they're just these little pieces that you can put on. Others of them seem to finish really quickly for how big they are and how complex they probably are. You can even pull up schematics, and I mean, most frames are going to have schematics and manuals and legal documentation and whatnot, and the same for you as for Tavik. It is all utter nonsense. But the first piece that you printed out, and probably what you are working on while you are having this discussion and working with everybody else to research all of this stuff, was this helmet piece. But you realize there's no space for you to put your head in, and it's maybe even just a little too small for you to put your head in. But it did print with this sort of collar. So it looks like, you're not sure, but it looks like this vaguely anthropomorphic head shape sort of sits on top of the frame.
Okay.
But you can put that together. It takes a little bit of looking around at it. And unlike the autogun, there are actual like rivets and stuff that you have to put in. There are actual wiring and such that you have to put in.
Okay.
And you start assembling this, and you sort of assemble it from the head down. One of the next pieces is an actual helmet that will fit you, or at least something vaguely helmet-shaped that sort of attaches to the cockpit, the seat, for lack of a better word, where you are attached to this hard suit, that sort of folds in from the side and almost looks like these big sort of bug-eyed lenses that sort of really press fairly firmly against your head in different areas. Not to a painful degree, but to a degree, again, like this perfectly fits you. And as you're assembling this, I imagine you get in just to make sure that it all works and whatnot, and you fold this visor over on top of you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's interesting. There's a bit of an initialization sort of readout, operating system booting up, yada 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 yada, flowing down, all the basic stuff you're used to. But it brings up this sort of AR display that you can access, and the suit printed with actually something very similar to what Tavik uses, little key finger protrusion things that allow you to type without actually, typing.
Yeah.
And you find yourself, as this is loading, just from your own curiosity, you can go through and open up different things and start reading about different things and accessing different parts of what your suit can do, and you realize, how did I know that symbol is what I was looking for? It's what you were looking for. But there's no words, there's no directory. It's just some symbols here and there. And you before you even realize that you are doing it, you are navigating a fairly complex directory of what this suit is capable of.
Okay. Has the realization, kind of goes still. Weird. Well, it's pretty intuitive. It will just keep bopping around.
And over the course of the next few hours, all of this prints out. And you realize as you put these pieces on, obviously the arms extend much longer than your arms would. The legs extend a bit longer than yours would. You are the center of this sort of hard, extendable hard suit. But when you put that on, once it's complete, you know when you drive a car for a long enough time, you just know how big that car is. There's no trouble going through tight spaces. You know, there's a car on one side of the road and then a car on the other side of the road, and you know exactly whether or not you're going to fit down that street or not. You know exactly the turn radius of your car. You know exactly what speed you are going without even looking at the speedometer, just because you are used to where your foot is on the pedal. You already have that feeling with this suit. You know exactly how long your arm can extend. Like you can, as you're working on this, you need a tool that is well outside of your reach, but like you're still using a tablet or looking at something in this visor of yours, and you just reach out and with the goblin arm go and pick up what you need, like a good 8 feet away.
Yeah.
But over this time, as you are getting this very instinctual understanding of what this suit is, the rest of you can complete this research, and you pick up 2 important things that I did not mention before. There is a small online community. I think this is mostly discovered by Shiv and August. That may or may not have ties to Horus, that publishes non-peer-reviewed, non-academic supported publications, scientific publications of Horus tech. Some of them are written like a raving mad scientist. Others of them are a bit more quantitative, but the math doesn't always add up. Sometimes it acknowledges that the math doesn't always add up. Other times it doesn't. Other than that, you do find a few hints here or there that Union has tried to reach out to get Horus technology. And it usually doesn't work. And when, for whatever reason, one of their representatives, whether it's a Lancer Aux or whether it's some sort of research or technician or whatnot, anytime they do, for any number of reasons, it's never particularly helpful. Some of them because they're driven mad. Some of them because they disappear. Some of them because they have a change of heart and just won't help Union anymore. But Union doesn't seem to have any readily accessible or even difficultly accessible information on what they really know about Horus or Horus tech.
All right, I'll admit that's a little weird, a little disheartening. But look what I can do. And demonstrates the arms a couple of times.
You know exactly how to balance with this suit. Something that...
Yeah, because it has weird legs.
It has weird legs. Yeah, it has weird legs. But even for frames that don't have weird legs, like I imagine Blacksmith with Striker, you moving around the battlefield first time you're using it, you stumble here or there because you're still learning exactly how far your gate is and exactly where your center of gravity pivot points are. Shiv, you could be a ballet dancer in this thing.
Oh. Guys, throw something at me.
Okay. And I'm just gonna grab your thigh and just instantly chuck it.
Yes. I want to catch it. Can I just catch it?
Yeah, let's see.
Wait, no, better. A wrench.
If you can dodge a wrench.
Exactly. It's like how they just everybody in our generation just knows that one just instinctively.
Yeah.
Yep.
I will say, just for the narrative of it, You're not trying to react to something in really superhuman means under duress of battle or anything. So you are able to reach out and grab it. And I imagine, Athen, you threw it, in a direction. You didn't throw it right at her. You threw it sort of over her shoulder, and you were able to just sort of reach up and
You're
grab it.
overestimating Athen.
Perhaps, yeah.
And then right for the dome.
Ding. But what you realize actually is you understand the trajectory of that wrench.
So I'm kind of big braining it.
Yeah.
Can kind of see the arc of it as it's coming at me.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucking cool.
You even understand it from a mathematical sense. Like you could mathematically write out the equation for the curvature of the arc of this wrench.
Shiv's a clever person and is intelligent, but I think even that's surprising to them.
Yeah. But if you think about it, like you can't take that wrench and look over there to the bin in the far corner, and you don't really have a real understanding of the arc you need to get it there. You're not sure why or why not.
Coming at me. Okay.
Yeah, and you can play around with it here or there, and it really is. The more you think about it, the less reliable it is. That you go, wait, hold on, throw something else at me, and you completely miss it. You reach out for it, and you kind of it bounces off the tip of your finger, like you almost got there. You have an instinctual understanding of where you need to be, but you were focusing too hard on understanding, and you didn't get it.
Okay. I think that goes on for a little bit of understanding the limits of where instinct overrides conscious thought. And Shiv's like, oh, this is going to be dope. This is going to be very good. They'll slide out of the suit and just... I'm going to be so much better on the field, guys.
I mean, let's be honest. I don't think that thing's going to be able to, take Stryker in a fist fight, but...
No.
I'm
a toothpick now, but, I don't have to, focus so hard on, actually being combative, if that makes any sense. I feel like I could probably focus better on doing the shit that I'm actually supposed to be doing, which is, fucking stuff up from the inside.
Hey, August, you think the two of you might be able to sync up? Wreak some havoc from a little further back?
Sounds like a pretty good game plan to me.
Terrible idea.
A terrible... Well, then what is a good idea? Stop just shooting everything down. Give me a positive. Come on. This is cool. You know it's cool.
Wait. Hey, wait. I got it. Is your recommendation to go with Harrison Armory? Is that what it is?
My recommendation is to ensure that you understand your hardware before we go into a situation where you might get killed otherwise. Or, excuse me, where you will make my job of keeping you from being killed significantly harder. That is my suggestion. You can take it or you can leave it, but I think that you are understandably excited about your new toy. But I think that this is a hasty decision, and I know that at least one of us, and then he sort of side-eyes at Athen, will join you in the excitement and not the long-term thinking.
Okay. Counter proposal in that case. We probably still have a little bit of time before we have our next mission. Shiv, you and me, scrapyard. We can practice.
You're gonna try to punch me?
Didn't we just go over how it is unlikely that this, and he motions towards it, will be effective in a one-on-one confrontation?
But the
There
thing
are
is, we
lots
can
of
do.
different ways to test stuff.
Yeah, we have all kinds of ways to limit test. Besides, I mean, I was tripping on Striker's new gate. Like, I mean, I'm struggling with this thing a little bit. The harpoons aren't shooting quite the way I wanted to. I gotta make some calibrations. It's a good chance for all of us to test out our new toys.
I mean, how often you run a metal mark?
This would be my first time.
Precisely. So, let Shiv test this one out, figure it out, and if there's something wrong with it, we address it.
And there's a moment where he just sort of stands there, and you could see the eyes sort of flickering back and forth. Better here than out on duty.
Exactly. And the thing is, if we need to, we can use dummy rounds.
Oh, you're definitely using dummy rounds.
No, I'm trying to kill Shiv.
I feel like Athen, every time Athen like goes out to the scrapyard, he tries to like acquisition for like live rounds for sparring, and he gets
100%.
denied every time.
I think at this point it would probably just be a running joke with the people at the scrapyard.
Yeah. It's like, hey, can I really hit stuff now? Nope.
How about
Okay.
this time? This time. Come on.
This time?
Once.
All right, cool. So we all have a play date tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
Where you
Hey, why don't we
use
go ahead
sword.
and why don't we bring in some of the people from the B team?
Ooh. I haven't bullied Lich in a long time. I'd really like to.
Oh my! I would pay to see that.
Unfortunately, I think they're probably busy with other things in their personal.
We can still ask.
Yeah. I mean, what's the worst that happens? They tell us no. I mean,
There is
quite
a-
frankly, like I want to box with Lisbeth. Just saying.
There is a very, like, intentional look over at Shiv.
Shit.
Well,
Well, we don't gotta. It's fine. We don't have to.
y'all enjoy yourselves. I'm gonna try to figure out how those damn things in the arena were using that, them dual laser things where they were like bouncing them around and combining them and stuff. I'm gonna see. I gotta figure that out.
You
Man,
need
you
any
may-
extra like footage or anything like that?
No. I gotta work on specs.
All right. You need some alone
Can you
time.
imagine- Can you imagine if I could replicate that with
It would be cool
Artemis?
as hell.
Dual input, coruscating, energy weapon. God damn. And then he just trails off, and it's just like, and he just kind of starts walking towards the exit in his own.
There he goes.
All right. Well, Shiv, I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
In the meantime, I gotta go shower.
Yeah, gross.
All right. So let's cut
I'm gonna
there.
take like a real quick. I'm just gonna take like a greasy hand and just like covered in like oil and stuff like that. Just wipe it over Shiv's forehead.
There's almost a smile. Almost. Very close.
So close.
Amazing. So close.
Camera will
One day.
spin, and we will transition. Actually, let me ask, because there was a little emotional back and forth there. Would you like to ask the B team to have a little playtime with everybody else who might want to?
Personally, leaving that in Tavik's hands. That is up to him.
Well, I think right now it is just you and Athen. So it's up to you and Athen whether you want to invite them along. It seems already that that August said he's got
Well,
mechanical stuff to do.
Tavik did say he'd be there.
Okay.
Well, he didn't say he'd be there, but he.
But he'll
yeah,
be.
he's-
Okay. Sure.
Because he was like, well, better here than out there. So
Yeah.
he's gonna
Okay.
be, especially because he doesn't trust leaving it to Blacksmith.
Decent fight. Okay, look, just because I lost my mech first, okay?
and
like
cost someone else
seconds.
theirs, but it's fine.
So, is the B team involved?
I mean, always down to just shoot him an invite.
All right.
But then, like, nobody's gonna make that face. Did you see the face?
I know, it's gonna be fantastic.
Oh my god, this is okay.
So
It would.
But here's the thing, they'll probably say no. They're probably doing their own thing. That's fine. The thing is, if we're gonna keep going on missions, they're gonna be watching our backs. I figure that, like, a little team bonding's not too bad. I mean, we hung out with Hotjaw during the Angels dance. He's not a bad guy.
So, just to get this going, because I want to get to the briefing before our break. You send them an invite, and Mac McRow, Hotjaw, almost immediately responds, "Fuck yeah, be there," with 3 fire emojis.
Love that for him.
The next day, we can see you all have Hotjaw in here too, right?
Hell yeah.
There you are, Hotjaw. Throw you in there with your magnificent mustache. All right.
Mustache.
Yep. We can. I don't know if we ever. It's been a while since we showed him off. Can we zoom in on this guy? For how to. Just... There we go.
It is a magnificent
Stream.
mustache.
Yeah, he's otherwise cleanly shaven. You suspect he can't grow hair on, I think it's the left side of his face because it's entirely burnt to hell. But he does have a magnificent curled blonde mustache.
Good.
Yes, so he shows up. I have to resize him back generally towards everybody else. So he shows up, and you notice, actually, he's no longer in an Everest either.
Ooh.
He is in a Sherman, actually.
Oh.
However, Tavik may respond to that, but a Harrison
not
Armory
well.
Sherman. Yep. For any Lancer fans in the audience, that's the one with the big fucking laser beam that shoots out of its faceplate.
Ooh.
It's very cool.
And then as you are deploying, and actually after you deploy, you make your way, you're making your way to the scrapyard, or probably hanging out just outside the station, floating around, having a little chit chat, showing off different things before you actually make your way to the station. You notice a series of drones shoot out from the hangar bay, actually a vast series of drones, dozens of them in varying shapes, anything from the size of a like minivan all the way down to like little soccer ball sized things, and they shoot out of the station and slowly sort of drift together into a hydra.
What?
And that is
That's
Lich.
amazing. Couldn't get your mech to get, like, put together? Running a little late, bud? You good?
More sophisticated mechs don't need to be put together. That's not Lich's voice. It's been too long since I've been Lich.
That's okay.
Some
I know, I haven't
mechs
gotten to
don't
bully
need to be put together.
And I just want to point out, like, you're going to see that I'm just going to just like do a flourish with my sword and axe. So how is that thing to take apart? Just out of curiosity.
Oh, very. Be more concerned about what I put it back together around.
Oh, that's okay. That's actually vaguely threatening. Good job. Well done. Okay.
And we can sort of blur cut out of that as we see the lot of you boost towards the scrapyard, where you are going to have. We can see a quick montage of different things that you get up to. Lich's Hydra sort of coming apart and sending drones out to do various different things. Hotjaw is having way too much fun burning everything, which I think every now and then we see a picture. We see a quick frame of Hotjaw just shooting a laser beam through a pile of rocks, and we can cut over to Tavik just in the mech making some kind of face.
It's very much the eye roll and the shake
Mhm.
of the head.
Excellent. But
I think. Oh, really quick. Shit figures out the backpack mechanic.
yep.
Really quickly. It's the figuring out who to backpack to that they haven't figured out yet, and so it's a lot of bouncing between team members, going, "Wait, here? No, not here. Here, not here." It's a lot of that.
Mhm.
I have a mechanical question, actually.
Yes.
If Buddy is integrated with Ascendant, and Ascendant goes invisible, does that apply to Buddy?
I believe
That's my-
so,
that-
because
that's
you
my
share
understanding.
conditions.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That would be hilarious though if you're just like splayed out kind of thing, and you're just like hovering there because you're in the invisible mech.
Yeah.
Just full on
my
video
God.
game glitch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like T-posing in the middle of space.
Uh-huh.
Incredible. It'd be so sneaky. Do you
I
imagine
could not
Shiv
pass that one up.
invisible at any point?
One.
Chaos.
Yeah, so symbiosis and the meta hook are actually two different things. I'll have to look into that, but most likely, because it would be fairly stupid, both mechanically and
just-
visually, to have
Yeah.
floating goblin just sort of video game
Mhm.
glitching along.
But it would be so silly.
Yeah.
So
I'll,
silly.
I'll take a better look at it, but it's not a question we need to answer right now.
Nah.
Yeah, but on top of the backpack thing, you do notice that you have a whole subset operating system that is capable of performing new invade options, new hacking options, that can actually project false images onto other people's sensor displays, which is fun to play around with.
Oh hell yeah.
But we can see more of that when we get to the next mission. So we see a quick montage of you all sparring with each other, practicing things, blowing up rocks, practicing different hacking techniques and different support techniques before we see you blasting back to the station. And we do a quick couple revolutions around the station before the camera will flow back in through the Navy ring once again as the spinning around the station slows until we come to once again the office of Commander Ronica Leary. We're going to jump straight to the briefing. Don't worry, I'm not going to ship you off immediately like I did before, so you will have some time to do whatever whatever else you feel you need to do before going on with that. But our camera is going to pick up in that large, spacious, pristine, white, round room, accented with a few different gold accents here, stark black furniture there, and a decent amount of potted plants of various different flowers and broad-leafed vegetation and whatnot. It looks like a room that was originally very Spartan, but has, over time, developed its own personality. And standing, again, in front of the desk, sort of half-leaned, perched up at the corner, as you've seen her do before, is Ronica Leary, Commander Ronica Leary. Now, let me bring this up. Yes. So, you've all been called to assemble at her office, as you have done before, for a new mission briefing. It is you five, and in fact, Lich, Hotjaw, and Hajiri are there as well. Yeah.
Dope.
Lancers, thank you for assembling. We have a new mission for your particular talents and your particular experiences out in the field, to an extent. You are being sent. Let's see a second. You are one of countless teams being sent to equally countless systems on the fringes of Union space. With the, and she holds up a finger, she says, with the, pauses, holds up a finger and sort of scans past all of your eye lines. The potential threat of an unidentified adversarial force, sort of lingering on August there. Not overly long, but a quick linger on August there. With the potential threat of an unidentified adversarial force, Union is prioritizing efforts to help secure and, if deemed necessary, evacuate its most distant member populations within our reasonable grasp. Due to the demilitarization of Union forces after the founding of Union's Third Committee, we are having to call in allied and contracted forces to act as support personnel and advisors, to the best of their abilities, within the pillars of Union. And this is where you come in. I understand that none of you, to my knowledge, are military strategists or tacticians to a high professional degree. None of you have administrated planets or even city populations before. None of you have been in command of... She pauses. Some of you may have been in command of larger forces in your own time. But we are, quite frankly, Union, specifically the Union Navy, quite frankly, is limited in the number of personnel and resources that we can deploy to all of the various member worlds along the rim. I know, because of your academy training, that you should have a decent grasp on recent Union history. But since the disbanding of Union's Second Committee, the Third Committee has made a point to take a much more hands-off approach to administration and outreach. And since pivoting away from the expansionist colonial tenets of SETCOM, it was deemed prudent, safe for everybody involved, for Union to drastically reduce its military assets. We've since been able to solve most of our external affairs with diplomacy. And when needed, to use what assets we have, which are still quite formidable, to secure Union. Unfortunately, and again, she holds her hand up, this time without looking in all of your eyes, just holds her hand up. With what you experienced previously, we are not certain if, when, where, or how Union may, or its member worlds, may come under potential unidentified problems. And so we are trying to fortify what we can. That means utilizing non-standard resources for such tasks. Namely, your team, as well as I said, many others. We are sending you to the Inico system, particularly Inico 4. It is a mostly jungle world that prioritizes food and other organic materials. It will require a journey of about 7 years there, so I imagine, in a very different degree as you experienced on Dressel, but I do imagine that the situation will develop in those intervening 7 years. So I will leave this briefing brief, and you will be getting a new one, more updated one, when you wake from stasis. But for now, we are going to require what expertise you have in your individual fields, your individual experiences, individual focuses, and as a group, to act as one of a number of representatives of Union and various planetary factions, for lack of a better word, and assist in securing and fortifying the ecosystem, including potential evacuations, if deemed necessary or requested by the population. Nobody is being held there, obviously, though currently there is no mandated evacuation. There is very little mandated anything. We will be relying on you, as well as other squads, to determine what procedures are best for each individual world. There is, however, one condition that, given your previous experiences, you may find trying. There's a brief pause and just the slightest furrow of her eyebrows. As I said, we are having to tap into non-standard allied and contracted forces to be able to fortify the Rim. Accompanying you will be representatives of the Hawkwood Company, as well as a fleet en route to act as a defense force in that system, and others nearby.
Will that include the Commodore?
It will not. The Commodore will be remaining here.
Heard. And there is like a look over towards August, and just a little bit of like a narrowing of the eyes.
I'm sorry, why are they...
Looking. He's kind of like
Why are they...
looking in space.
Why are they being cleared to work with us?
While you have been off performing other duties, the Commodore, as well as other representatives of the Hawkwood Company, have been in negotiation with Union for some time now. Various elements of the Union administration, the Third Committee, administrative departments, Navy departments, did not take their warnings seriously. They have since Dressel 1, and you bringing Commodore Riley back here, been able to better relay information that has been corroborated by, well, your previous mission. You were sent to gather data to corroborate or to what's the word I'm looking for? Dismiss. To corroborate or dismiss his and others' claims of what has been happening out in that region. They have since been deemed forthcoming, accurate, and quite frankly, they possess a military asset that we are currently in need of.
Okay, so...
Are we that desperate? look, last time that we dealt with these guys, we were tearing through their forces, and I quite frankly think there might still be a grudge there.
And also, in case anyone else is forgetting, because I'm sure they're not, gonna point back to the other two, the commander was kind of integral into a very upsetting situation.
Their tactics were unfortunate.
Unfortunate.
They were wrong, and they were dealt with. These are individuals who, as far as I understand, have been dealing with desperate situations repeatedly over the course of decades. Do not forget, travel from out in the diaspora takes a long time. And from what I understand, they spent a long time out there trying to deal with the problem themselves before they even bothered falling back to Union territory. I won't try to justify what they did, but from their perspective, desperate measures did call for desperate solutions. Now, again, since we have worked to better integrate them into our discussions of the topic and into the developing landscape of whatever this conflict may become, they have, we believe them to be useful. I won't be foolish enough, naive enough to say entirely trustworthy. But, and I mean no disrespect to anybody here or any of the corporations, just as useful as our alliances with the other corporations and other non-union worlds that we have allied ourselves with in the past.
Who is their point of contact, and who are they going to be answering to?
One moment. Your point of contact in the field, at the moment, and again, 7 years travel time, at the moment is Fleet Captain Tiana Baboros. I will drop that in our chat for you guys there, for our players here. That's not what I need.
And who will the mercenaries be answering to while we're out there?
Mercenaries. I suppose you could consider them mercenaries. Their forces, which are, at least at this point, recognized Hawkwood Company forces, officers, soldiers, crewmen, representatives, will answer to Fleet Captain Tiana Baboros, at least ultimately up the chain of command that they have established on their own, or will establish on their own. You will be in charge of course, your own teams, and should be valued advisors to the situation. And while you will not have direct command over any of the local forces, be them policing forces, local defense forces, or any other such developed in such time mercenary forces of the Inico system, while you may not be in direct command of them, you should be seen as very useful, very respected advisors of the Union Navy administration. You will be working alongside Fleet Captain Tiana Baboros, along with other representatives from Union and other representatives from various organizations, both political and corporate, on Inico 4. There we go.
there anything else we need to be made aware of before we are dismissed?
A brief overview of the system and the planet will be made available to you to review before you go into stasis. Other than that, you will largely be left to fortify the planet as you and other members of this task force see fit. You are one voice among many in this. This is a collaboration. You will have to assess the situation on the field, and of course, you will be able to communicate back to base, back to myself, via the Omninet once you get there, and we can better assess the situation. Though I and other commanders and administrators will be overseeing this entire operation, and you may not be able to answer every question, solve every problem for you.
As he's listening to this, Derek's arms go from like behind him where they normally are to crossed, and then slowly sort of one creeps up so it's like resting sort of over his chest, and his fingers are fiddling a little bit with his pocket.
Other than that, from what I understand, in case this becomes relevant, there are three major, corporations there on the planet. None of them, to my knowledge, are direct subsidiaries of any of the big three. But there is Galactic Roots Agricultural, which is a leading supplier of the region's food and other consumable organic material. There is Slide Biofuel, which does exactly as it seems, provides biofuel alternatives. And a newly established joint labor union, joint labor workers union, that oversees various other aspects of running the planet's infrastructure, mostly. As well as, of course, the Union Administrative Campus administration overseeing the planet. Governing Council. It's a relatively... I would not call it... It's not a core world, obviously. It will require about 5 years of travel at near sea to get to this planet. It is a jungle world, but it is certainly more populated than Drespel. There are a number of large cities that dot the various continents, and a number of other large facilities that oversee vast swaths of resource gathering plantations, for lack of a better word.
Okay.
Well, definitely seems like a hell of a lot better than the last place you sent us to.
I would hope so.
Shit, this damn near might be a vacation.
This could take some time. There is no... Well, I will say, ideally, the exit strategy for this mission will be when the Hawkwood Company fleet makes it into the Inico system. They should be due to arrive within a number of months. I'm not exactly sure when, until you get there, that they will arrive, but within a number of months. Most likely less than a year, but you have until that time to do what you must throughout the Inico system, mostly the planet. But there are other assets and other populations within the system itself. You have until that time, ideally, perhaps longer if required, but ideally, once the fleet arrives and they are able to establish their defensive fleet of the station, you will have done what you deem fit and necessary to secure the planet, the populations, and the station. We don't want your presence to be overly drawn out.
Okay.
there anything else you would like to know that I might be able to answer before you embark? You will have some time. This is not like the last mission where you needed to go immediately. You can take the next few days, a week at most, I will say.
No, I know that at this point I don't think there's anything else that you can answer other than getting us an updated briefing once we get there.
That is the difficulty of administrating and protecting relativistic distances.
Right. Well,
It's
we can
a
also
headache.
we can get an updated set rep from local forces when we're there too.
Yes. The planet...
Would you mind sending up, like, just... I know it's not going to do anything, but can you tell them that at least 4 people are really, really upset about the use of the Hawkwood Company?
Siobhan, I would appreciate if you could set the past in the past. You need to work together with the individuals who are on this mission with you. And they, as far as I am aware, are unlikely to be anyone associated with your time at Dressball 1.
GenCom has made their decision, and it doesn't matter how we feel. We're going to have to suck it up and do as we're told.
You have to be able to work with these people.
Well,
This
I'll
is
put the
bigger
past
than
in the
anything
past
that
when the
happened
effects
on
of the
Earth.
past are in the past.
Tavik's gonna, sort of put a hand on Shiv's arm. And there's another one of those, pointed looks, and just this very, very bare sort of shake of the head. It's not a fight we win.
It shouldn't be a fight you have.
Is there anything else?
Not currently. You will be made aware of new information as I receive it. At least when you are not in stasis.
How long do we have?
You may take the week.
Thank you. And Tavik is going to turn and exit.
As usual, she doesn't bother dismissing you. She doesn't expect that rigid military demeanor with you. You aren't Navy officers. You are auxiliary mercenaries, a special task force at best. She simply picks herself up off of the desk, gives the room a nod, and slowly makes her way back around to sit down and start working on things. As I assume the rest of you file out.
There's kind of a long look from August for a second. Then he just kind of nods to himself. Thank you, Commander.
She looks up and
Thank you.
gives you a nod.
He walks out.
And as we see the silhouettes of everybody walking down this brightly lit hallway, our camera will sort of fade out, and we'll take our break there.
Oh boy. It sounds like we have a queue waiting in the wings.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, perfect timing. I said that without even seeing that message, so right on time, Q. Perfect. So, we're going to go take a quick break, enjoy some music and some flashy lights, go check out our friends over at Veil of the Void. We got a little advert coming up during the break. If you're watching this, whether live or in the future, and you have a game that you would like to see advertised on the break, let me know. I'm always looking for supporters, sponsors, even ad sharing to some degree. So let me know. I just like shouting out fun, cool new indie games. But anyway, we're going to go on a quick break, 10 minutes or so. Might be a tad longer just because we need to bring Q in, might have to play around with OBS. But I'm hoping to get back into things so we can get into the Inico system and at least see what we have coming up. So bear with us, go get up, do your own quick repairs, and sit back down in about 10 minutes or so. We'll be back with more of the Starcrier Conflict.
Heck yeah.
The Starcrier Conflict is brought to you in part by Veil the Void Reforged. Pierce the veil and adventure through the void as a vampiric alien, a sentient plant, or even a bottled aspect of the cosmos. These and countless other characters can face off against massive cosmic space worms, demons from the Broken Realms, and even travel through the roots of the newly rediscovered world tree of Yggdrasil. Find your next favorite adventure in Veil the Void Reforged. Visit sdgcreatives.com to learn more and pick up your own copy of Veil the Void Reforged today.
Hello, and we're back. Hello, and we're back for the continuation of the Starcrier Conflict. We had a little bit of hiccup during our break. Had to OBS freaked out when we tried to bring Q back in, but we managed, and now Q's here. Actually, Q, since we missed you in the intro, how about you say hello to everybody?
Hi, everybody. I'm Q, he, him. Now that I'm here, I'll be playing Logan Uhura, call sign Desperado, who pilots the Dead Man's Hand.
Yes. Excellent. All right. Well, I gave Q a little bit a brief part of the briefing during our break there. Should be ready to jump back in. Had a little bit of a hiccup. So if you are watching this and you head over onto Twitter or any Discords and just let people know that we're back. We had a little hiccup, but we're back for the continuation of this, and we are heading out to the Inico system, where our group is going to need to secure and fortify the region with the help of their new best friends, the Hawkwood Company, which they previously fought against. This is my my big brain enemies to lovers arc. I know I'd get Haley with that one. All right. Let's jump back in for the continuation of the Starcrier Conflict. We will pick back up after our wait out from the commander's office. We are going to fade back in, just once again, an orbital shot of the station. Let's get some different music going. Let's try that one. And clean up our display here. We'll see who we have scenes with. But you guys have about a week or so, whatever time you need, to tie up any loose ends you have on the station. Because the last couple times I tried to jump you guys straight into a starship, you're like, wait, hold up, no! So, do any of you have anything you would like to tie up here on Far Station 12 before I launch you into the black?
I've got at least a thing.
I figured. You're a married man now.
Correct. Correct. So after getting word that we have a mission, I would have spoken to Stormkirk.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah.
Because he said there was something that we were planning to ensure that Morgan is taken care of.
Okay. Let's actually play that out. I was going to try to montage this, but let's actually play that out. So you head home. Again, this rather nice penthouse up in one of the nicer build. I'm not going to say nicer districts because there's not really poor districts on a Union station, but one of the nicer buildings here on the station. Your penthouse, not top floor, but one of the topper ones, one of the higher ones. Nice, spacious area. You can head home, pull up on your computer, holographic display, a call to the offices of a Mr.
Dane.
I had Duncan on my list, and that is not right. Dane Stormkirk, Mr. Dane Stormkirk. We see the IPSN logo spin around a few times as you get a little ringing in the background, and after not too terribly long, an image pops up of a young woman. Actually, you've probably this is his secretary. You've probably interacted with her a few times at this point. And may not even be the same woman every time, so I'm not going to bother describing her. But she basically comes on the call. Mr. Stormkirk will be with you in just a moment. Please hold. Just presses a button, and you're back to the spinning IPSN logo for a couple minutes before, once again, we see Mr. Dane Stormkirk in his finely embroidered not full suit, but finely embroidered high collar, sci-fi cut dress shirt. Very, very tanned features, very well manicured and groomed in every regard. Logan, to what do I
Mr.
owe
Stormkirk.
pleasure?
I am going on mission. It's going to be a long excursion, and you told me to let you know when that was happening.
Yes, I appreciate I appreciate the call.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what you'll be doing, if I may ask? And actually, let me pause here real quick. Is this a call that you are going? Have you secured this call? Do you feel the need to secure this call, as Shiv has shown you how?
I think typically when he's making a call to Stormkirk, it's going to be secure.
Okay. Then yes.
Just sort of standard procedure for that, yeah.
Sure. Yes, so if you could.
Nice. Aha. And what was the system called? Just so I know.
It is the Inico system.
Inico,
Yeah.
okay.
Also, is that a Crown Royal bag?
Of course it is.
Again, Hugh, I adore you.
So that's going to be a 15.
Oh, sorry, I see what you're doing. No, I didn't need to. I mean, we don't need to roll for that. We don't need to roll every time for that.
Sweet.
I apologize. I was vague. Yeah,
All good.
You are
all good. I was like, hey, better safe than sorry.
Yeah. You're safe.
Yeah, we're going to the Inico system. There's some questionable activity that we are going to investigate and make sure that the citizenry is safe.
Interesting. I have been made aware that there is quite a lot of movement out towards the rim of late.
Mm-hmm. Sure is. And we think it best that we have some forces out there to make sure that the people of the Union are safe.
Of course we do. And a noble venture it is indeed. The Inico system, I will have to look that up. Of course, I don't know it off the top of my head. But, as usual, if you find anything useful or can make any significant connections, not only for yourself personally, but if anybody out there in the region has anything that they might benefit from a relationship with IPSN, of course, do feel empowered to act as sort of representative. Unofficially, of course.
Of course. Unofficially. Now, the question, because the reason why you told me to reach out was figuring something out for my husband. So, what do we need to do? What can we do to ensure that he is as temporarily in sync with me as possible?
Let me actually pause here for a little bit, because that is something I don't know if I reminded everybody of, or if you saw in our Discord. But indeed, this is deemed a mission that is not necessarily top clearance level or anything. It is not a mission that is deemed to be immediately hostile territory or anything. So you guys are permitted, within reason, to request clearance for people to join you on this mission, if you have anybody you would like to join. It is going to take at least 7 years to get there, presumably 7 years to get back, and you will be in system for at least several months, though likely less than a year, waiting for the Hawkwood Company Defense Fleet to also congregate within the system. So you could be away for, at minimum, 15-ish years. So yeah, if there's anybody you would like to bring along, for in your instance, Morgan, anybody else, you might be able to request other personal or even professional personnel. A little bit of a freeze, but I think you're back.
Maybe.
All
Am
right,
I?
I think you are. Yes.
I think,
Okay.
Jack, I think that was a freeze on your end.
It-
actually.
Yeah,
It was probably a
Okay,
freeze on my
cool.
end. Okay. What
Yeah.
did?
Okay, because I was like, I hope not.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I wasn't
Okay.
sure either, and
I'm
I
back.
looked around and I saw everyone's reaction, and I'm like, okay, cool, cool,
Okay.
cool.
Gotcha.
Gotcha.
What, if anything,
Okay.
did you
I'm
miss
the
of my
GM
ramble?
now.
Oh, did camera shift? That's a... Anyway.
Monet? Okay. I know that you said that there's a chance perhaps for us to get clearance for people to join us.
Yeah.
And then there was something after that.
Yeah.
But I did.
For you, you could request Morgan. Anybody else, there's a possibility that you could request personal or even professional people to accompany you. Within reason, if there are people that you would like to bring along and can be justified for whatever reason. So yeah, expect about 15 years of a time gap. So if that changes what this call would be about, then we can shift. Would you like to request clearance for Morgan to join you on Inico 4, or would you want to talk this through with Stormkirk, see what the options are through him, and then decide?
I think I'd like to talk it out with Stormkirk, and then I'll decide.
Excellent.
So
We don't need to retcon.
So then cool. There are options on my end. I can request clearance for him to join me. However, it's a sort of toss-up whether or not if this will go well. It could turn sideways at any moment. So if he wasn't, directly in, area of effect, as it were, in the line of danger, that would be great. But I'm fine, fine either way. I just wanted to see what the options were.
Well, I believe, briefly discussed what some options could be, in theory, in the past. Obviously, there is always the option of simply sticking him in the freezer. But presuming we don't go that route. As I said, I have been looking into where I may be able to place him among the IPSN personnel, what sort of shipping routes we may be able to utilize his services for. I do believe I have something that we can... A number of options, a number of routes that we could assign him to. Again, that would mean that you may be out of sync for some time. I can't guarantee that you will both leave and return at the same time, or even within a few weeks, few months, you might have, half a year away from each other. And, of course, temporal displacement, relativistic travel, and whatnot. You might not be entirely in sync, but you shouldn't be losing years and decades to it, as it were if he were simply sitting stationary. So, we could look into that.
Okay.
Additionally, this would require a bit more effort on your part to make it worth the resources. But we could attach him to your deployment, either with your deployment or alongside, coincidentally alongside your deployment, into the Inico system. Again, I'll have to look up exactly what we may be able to do there. But if he were to find himself in a precarious situation, a situation in which IPSN assets that were not otherwise devoted to such a planet could be evacuated, if possible.
Okay.
It's not a guarantee. I can't send out a fleet or any sort of military vessels, but a small transport, perhaps a small cargo, small transport vessel that may be able to ascertain what sort of potential commerce routes are an option for this area. Could be arranged.
Okay. All right. Let me check with the Lancer Corps and with the Navy, and then I'll get back to you on that. Can I get 24?
Of course, of course. I will stress again,
Great.
however, a transport, both a transport ship and the act of transporting to that degree, that length of time, does require a fair bit of resources on our part. So we would need some. Obviously, you can't make any assurances, but I trust in you, Mr. O'Hara, that you could find a way to make this worth our investment.
Of course.
I will leave you to your deliberations then.
Thank you. You have a pleasant evening. Tell Serafina she's doing great with her hair. Assuming that's the
Of course.
the
Yeah.
secretary.
I will pass along a compliment. And do pass
Of course.
my regards on to Morgan.
Of course.
Have a pleasant day, Mr. O'Hara.
You as well.
All right. With that, you can have a little deliberation if you would like to. If you want to talk it out, we can do that. What's your thoughts? Let's work towards a decision.
I kind of want to know what Morgan thinks of it, like which he would rather do.
Okay.
Because like if we're going on this trip, I'm gonna be in cryo for most of that, right?
Yes. And
Okay.
he would. Almost everybody but a skeleton crew would be in stasis.
Okay.
So he would be in stasis as well.
Okay.
I will say, given the option, he'd rather go with you.
Okay.
He's Navy. He was Navy. He was military personnel. He was never a direct combatant. I mean, he was a lieutenant on a patrol ship that was performing regular duties. He wasn't really a drop soldier or anything. And probably really hasn't seen combat to any real degree. But he was Navy trained. He's not going to, shy away from a potential problem. And given the opportunity, would rather stay with you.
Okay. Then sure. I will request clearance.
Okay. It makes it a lot easier that you are now married. Family dependence and whatnot. You get clearance. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Cool. Then yeah, that's all I needed.
Would you like to set up that sort of emergency buoy plan that Stormkirk offered? Potential transport out with the cost that you need to make it worth his investment in some way.
I mean, I'll keep it in mind.
Well, he will have to. That ship will have to make its way to the Inico system to be available for you. So you kind of need to make that call before you go.
Gotcha.
We can move on to something else if you would like to think.
Yeah, let me think on it.
Okay. Anyone else have anything they would like to tie up before you take a 7-year nap?
Not necessarily that needs a scene, just the knowledge that since reconnecting, Shiv has kept good on her promise to call her dad.
Okay.
Basically every day, even if it's only for a couple of minutes. But does call.
Okay, every day. Okay. Okay. Yeah, we don't need to play it out. But every now and then you don't get through. But when you don't, you usually get a call back, whether you're playing OmniNet tag or not. And you can see, because it's been at least a few weeks since you first reconnected with him, you can tell for the first week, 2, 3 even, he's still almost in disbelief about this. Not just in disbelief of this reconnection, but still very much really uncertain as to how this relationship is going to work. What role he plays now, because he hasn't been dad in a long time, and there's obvious awkwardness. You can't just jump right back in assuming that you're dad again. So there's a lot of that, and you can again, every time you make the call, you can see how tired he is, and how just the shine and enthusiasm that he always used to have just isn't there anymore. It perks up throughout your conversations, just that he's speaking with you and learning more about what you have been up to, but he's very reluctant to talk about what he's been up to, and will sort of brush things off, but not brush it off with the eloquence and the wonder and the exactitude and the conversational shifting that he did when you were a kid. It was like sometimes he just comes out, sighs, and says, "I don't want to talk about that, Siobhan." You can tell he's lost pride in what he's done. Yeah. But he's slowly getting more comfortable with talking with you again. Always excited, of course. Always happy to have that conversation, but slowly getting more comfortable with it. Slowly, falling back into the rhythm. And you get to a point where you can tell the phone doesn't ring. The OmniNet call doesn't ring as long. It's almost like you call and he is, if you are doing this at regular intervals, he knows when you call and he is there and he is excited, and you get back to a fraction of that beam that he had in his smile that you were used to. If at the very least, just knowing that this connection is back in his life.
Yeah. Good. It's good. Yeah, and then that last call right before they leave, she breaks the news that she has to be gone for a long time.
Okay. Yeah, you can see there is visible disappointment going, a few weeks, a month, with daily calls and rekindling this, to hear that you're going to be asleep for 7 years. That's a big time for somebody stuck on a world.
Yeah.
But he understands that's what you do. I assume you've talked more about your time at the academy and in the Lancer Corps and what little you can divulge. So he understands that's your job. And I assume, I mean, you enjoyed the people you work with, your squad.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You're
I adore them.
And you might not be the pride of the Union Navy, but you still take pride in your personal involvement in what you're doing, I say. Yeah. So he sees that, he recognizes that, and clear disappointment, but recognition, acceptance. Anybody else?
We'll need to make a quick trip down to the civilian ring because there's a certain somebody that I need to see.
Okay.
Going to stop at her place. Just a quick knock on the door, and just be like, "Look, Becca, it's been fun, but I'm about to go. They're sending me out. It's going to be minimum 15 years before I get back. I think that it's safe to assume that this was going to be temporary at best. So, just wanted to give you a heads up if you were wondering why I wouldn't be answering calls, because I'm going to be asleep for a long time." So it's probably best that we just enjoy the time that we had, move on from there. And then just gonna immediately just turn and walk away.
I figured. You leave her with a flood of emotions that quickly go across her face. From confusion to flabbergasted to hurt to incredulous.
If something got thrown at my head, I'd probably just do a quick duck.
Yeah.
Not the first time this has happened.
Yeah. I mean, at least you went to her door and just didn't send out an email or something.
I thought about a text.
Anyone else like to visit, or is this your only breakup you have to do? I'll assume we move on from there. Also, hello, Raiders, live from the apocalypse. Thanks for hanging out.
Look at that smile. Yes. Look at that shit-eating grin. Ethan, you monster.
You gotta love it for as long as you can.
Amazing.
See, the thing is, this is where I don't have to fight and try to bring people along.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, but I get my strange on the regular. Yeah.
All right. Well.
Never change.
Anything else?
And won't.
Okay. Well. Hugh, Logan, have you made a decision?
Not this go round. We're not gonna take the buoy this go round. I'm going to. I think I want to find the things that are going to be worthwhile, and then I'll ask for the buoy on another occasion. I want to pay it up front, not know him later. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah. Fair enough. Probably smart. Smart.
Right, because what if it's not enough? Right. You know what I mean?
Right. Yep.
Also.
So you are bringing Morgan with you, but he doesn't have a ripcord to pull if things go wrong.
No ripcord. We're going to trust in the Navy and my squad to keep him safe.
All right. Excellent. Yeah, he's excited to go out. Go out on mission with you, travel with you, see new worlds. He spent most of his time since the academy just flying in circle around the few systems interspersed around the station here in the gate. So he's excited to go see a new planet.
Good.
All right. Anything else before we climb into our cryopods? Actually, I have one thing, and this will probably take place on the transport ship, so we can see everybody. Everybody's assembled out in front of a large transport ship down in one of the larger hangars of the Navy ring. It's not just it's your two teams of Lancer Hawks, but there's also a number of other support personnel, both Navy officers and crewmen, not just for the transport ship, but also as usable assets, feet on the ground, for you to utilize. After having the conversation with Commander Leary, she did assign a few squads to be made available to you. They are under the direct command of a captain that I will further develop for next week. But while you are not their direct commanding officers, they should follow your orders unless they are countermanded by the captain for good reason. And you can load into the ship. They haven't really bothered giving you guys quarters because you're taking a 7-year nap. So you can spend the time talking with anybody you want to talk with, getting one last meal in, Actually, cryostasis, it's probably better to make sure you're empty. And yeah, you guys can head into the stasis bay and get yourself situated. And while you are doing so, Tavik,
Yes.
Starblood, Lisbeth will walk up to you and pull you aside. Tavik, how are you feeling? How are you?
I'm all right. Had a few calibrations to make before we prepped everything, but not bad. How are you?
I'm well. Likewise, been setting things up. I wanted to make sure, you must have been informed by now, but I wanted to make sure you knew that you have been reassigned to the other squad. Admittedly, under my recommendation, unless, of course, you would prefer to countermand that. I just think, given our new status, it could be even more of a conflict of interest than before, and you seem to have been developing quite a rapport and tactical synergy with the other group.
Perhaps a bit of an overstatement, but I understand the logic. I would not wish to put you in an uncomfortable position by pushing back against that. Although I'm sure they will be less than elated to hear it.
Well, I know you've been spending more time with them. Or at least I've heard. Mac has been telling me stories of scrapyard brawl or something.
Yes, he likes to talk.
Yes, I will have my hands full just with him and Malcolm.
They haven't given you someone new for the squad?
Not currently. I've not requested anyone new for the squad.
I see.
Even before your graduation from the academy, it was just the three of us. I just wanted you to know it did come down from me. I hope you understand why. And absolutely no hard feelings or anything. I just think this is a better placement for both of us and our teams.
With what we are potentially walking into, I think it's important that everyone feel comfortable and confident. And if you feel as though that would not be the case, then I wholly support your decision and respect it.
She reaches out and hovers just over your shoulder for a second before actually placing her hand on your shoulder. We're both obviously on the same side. We'll be working together plenty closely. But just sort of lets the sentence trail off and nods. We'll, of course, be around. We will have our own responsibilities. But feel free to tie us in with whatever it is we find ourselves administering.
Most certainly. We will need someone to watch our back, I am certain. And I will, no doubt, have my hands full.
From what I understand, you are probably correct.
I do have a question for you.
She was about to turn. She stops.
Regarding Lynn, Do you have any understanding of how he came about the hardware that he's using now?
Malcolm apparently makes a concerted effort to be ambiguous, as I'm
Yes.
sure you are aware. He's found himself some new hardware. He's been playing around with some toys for a while now. I had previously advised that he, stick with more conventional assets until he had a better understanding of what he was working with.
But he was never going to do that.
Oh, he has. With protest, he, as you are aware, deployed with a general Chumalungma. He deployed with a general Chumalungma in the previous missions we were associated with. He's been working towards putting this together for some time.
All right. Would you? No, go ahead.
Oh, rumor and speculation. Smells of Horus nonsense.
Yes. This is absurd, but would you do me a favor and ask him something?
I love presenting absurdities to Lich.
And that is why I come to you instead of going to him.
She rolls her eyes.
He takes a moment as the words sort of swirl around in their mouth. Would you ask if he's seen a potato?
There's a very clear, what the hell are you talking about look on Lisbeth's face.
I know. I'm aware. I understand. I hope that you will take into account my lack of humor, so I have been told, and acknowledge that this is not me trying to be funny again.
What kind of potato? Like a typical cradle terrestrial root vegetable potato?
To a point, except in the process that led him to his current schematics. I'm well aware of what it sounds like I am asking, and if you'd like, I'm happy to deal with an assessment when I get back.
I will pose the question to him and assume he can make sense of what you were talking about.
That is my hope as well. Thank you.
He sort of pats your arm again. Sleep well,
And
Tavik.
Watch your left flank while you're out there.
I'll be watching my right well enough with Hotjaw flying around in that new death trap.
Yes, and you always get distracted because of him.
She spins. Heads over to her own pod. All right. You all can strip down to your Union regulation stasis cryopod attire, and
for Tavik, it's just straight up like boxer briefs.
Yeah.
Too many scientists put too much work into this to hide it.
Sure. Yeah.
Morgan.
Yes.
Hey, have you done cryo?
Well, a couple times, a few times.
Okay.
Not this long, but I'm not sure that matters.
Yeah, it does. You're just gonna be hungrier.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to a food production world. I don't think that's going to be a problem.
No, I just wanted you to be aware. Also, at least for me, sometimes I guess just because we're from a hot planet, going into the cold for so long, it takes me way too long to like boot back up.
I don't think these actually use cryo. It's kind of a misnomer.
I know, it just feels cold to me.
Right. Okay. Well, it's a shame they don't build them big enough for two.
Yeah, I asked about that. They said no. Well, no, they laughed at me, and then stopped laughing when I wasn't laughing at them.
Right. Okay. Too bad.
It was a genuine question. It was a genuine question. But I've got one next to me, so.
Yeah, he pats his pod. I'll be right here.
Great. Just a little kiss, and then I'm gonna hop in. I will
No, Shiv
absolutely.
walking past in fuzzy pajamas goes, "You guys got grosser after marriage," and just keeps going.
Hey, listen! Don't be jealous, you weirdo.
Morgan sort of grabs your cheek as you are retorting there, pulls you back for an overly dramatic kiss.
Gross.
Get a pod.
You can't. They don't make one for two.
I'm gonna like walk by and just kind of like clap Morgan like on the shoulder. Hey, yeah, see you in 7 years.
His eyes go wide and he exhales. Oof.
Don't think about it. Just don't think about it.
My bad.
It's gonna be like a nap. It's fine. Yeah, gonna remove the leg, put it in his little side holster,
Mm-hmm.
in the tube, and then gets in.
All right. We see from the top down, everybody lay down in their pods. There is a hiss of some sort of steam as the pod lid closes. Another hiss, and you guys are in stasis. There is, well, at that point, the camera will fade out. We will watch the ship emerge from the side of the station, this General Navy transport ship, as it quickly zooms off. Now, this, of course, this isn't warp technology or anything. It's not going from 0 to 120 times the speed of light in 60 seconds, but it quickly accelerates, quickly burns away into the black. And the camera will sit there watching the ship get smaller and smaller until it is just a few burning dots in the distance, fading in amongst the burning, twinkling lights. Actually, in space, stars don't twinkle. That's part of the atmosphere. In the carpet of bright lights out here in the nothingness. And the camera will slowly turn, and instead of seeing the station behind us when the camera turns, we instead see the transport ship getting larger and larger and larger until it zooms past the camera. We turn and we see a new star system, or just decelerating out of near sea at the edge of the Inico system. At this point, you can just barely make out this little marble of green in the distance. That is Inico 4. And the camera will fade back through the ship, through the view screen of the ship, past some very tired-looking pilots, and down a few very empty corridors until we get to the cryo chamber again. And even though it's been only a minute, most, in the cinematography that is this program that I am describing for everybody, our cryopods will hiss once again and open up. As Q said, it's been a very short nap for the lot of you. You closed your eyes, you have the vaguest sense of time passing, but certainly not 7 years felt like a nap, a dreamless nap. And you wake up.
You know, I really wish that they would let us feel more rested when we do this.
Well, it's not exactly sleeping.
Yeah, but like, why can't they like wake us up, but not like wake us up so that we get like a cycle of REM in, so then it feels like sleep? That would feel less jarring. I feel like I blinked.
I don't, Morgan pipes up, I don't think we actually get REM sleep in these things.
Well, that's my point. Like, we don't get REM sleep, so then just like let us do one little cycle right before we wake up, so that way it feels like waking up. You know?
Yeah.
Feels like a coma to me.
You've been in one of those.
I mean, essentially.
Does it feel like a
Haven't
coma?
Oh.
been in one of those.
Oh, I was about to say, do you know? You do. You sure do.
Mhm.
Fuck. Wow. Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
All right, before the
Fun
docs
facts
get
with
here, everybody
August.
sound off. How are we doing?
Stiff.
Hungry.
Tavik,
Yeah.
you have some sort of grease on your hand.
Ew.
Not a lot. Just you notice, actually, as you get up and pick yourself up and go to reach for part of your outfit, you pull it up and start putting it on, and you realize there's a smudge of just like very lightly dark reddish grease that is smeared onto whatever you are holding.
Tavik's going to turn and look back at his pod for a moment. See if there's anything there.
You lean
Looks
back
like
into it, give it a once over. All of you see him do this. This is probably unusual. You give it a once over. You play around with a few things. Aside from you can see there is just a little bit of that grease where your hand was laying, but nowhere else.
You know, having
let's,
sound off means making a sound. Just saying.
You do see actually there's another very little smudge on the lip of it, and another one on the sort of control console next to it. A few little, not really grease left behind, but like visible smudges left on the touchscreen.
And after a moment, takes a moment to sort of register what Shiv said. And then Tavik almost has to rip his eyes away from the control panel and goes, yes, it's no different than any other time.
That's not true.
Super lying. Good try. Do you want to try again? You'd still be lying. Unless you want to tell us the truth.
You're right.
Then you wouldn't be lying.
No,
Uh-huh.
that's fair. I did not get the chance to mention beforehand, and suppose it was something I was not entirely looking forward to discussing, but it seems I have been reassigned.
Reassigned to what?
What do you mean?
And he just sort of sweeps his hands across the group of you.
Oh, you're with us now.
Yes.
Oh. Okay. Well.
All right. Just turns and walks off.
There's another one of those like pointed glances towards Shiv that I think very clearly says everything he's trying to say with it.
Wow.
And then he's just gonna try and find something to wipe his hand off with.
Welcome to the squad, I guess.
Usually we go out for drinks, but you kind of told us a little late, so.
Then I guess I made the right choice.
Oh god!
Oh, that's
You know what
funny.
I could go for right now? A burrito.
I really just want to sit in something that isn't stiff. Oh, wait, Logan.
Yeah. I'm
Thanks
right
for
here.
the beanbag chair, by the way. I can't believe
What
I
do you mean?
forgot.
Huh? What about beanbag? What about a
Yeah,
beanbag?
no, I told you that like they forgot my old one, so the new one that showed up. Thanks.
I mean, I was definitely going to get you one. I didn't, though. Just looking to the rest of the group. Which one of
Once
you
Tavik-
guys did it?
Once Tavik is dressed, he's just gonna walk off to try and find like more of those wonderful nutrition bars.
Amazing. Gross. Such a sad existence. So wait, did any of you guys do it?
Not me.
Athen?
Don't look at me. I didn't do it.
Tavik!
No.
I think he's
okay,
gone
but-
at this point.
I mean, well, I'm gonna go where the food is, because again, I'm hungry.
Yep.
So where the
Anybody want-
food is probably different from where Tavik is going for his nutritional
Ruth.
supplement number 17.
Oh god.
Yes. I said
Gotta hate it.
NutriBar. I think I meant NutriPaste. I
Right.
think that's
Yeah.
Which is
yeah.
so gross.
Correct.
It's so much work.
What if the
Oh.
potato got me a beanbag chair? Do you think they would do that? They've been doing weird
Sure.
shit,
They've been giving you weird
Sure.
shit already. I mean, what's a beanbag chair?
right?
I feel like that'd be the
Does
most
it-
normal thing they've given you.
Like, can
Oh,
you
wait,
throw
wait.
glasses?
Wait. It's not wet,
Oh.
is it?
Huh?
It's not
Potato?
wet, is it?
Wait, is the potato wet?
No. The beanbag chair. It's not wet,
Wait.
is it?
Does the beanbag chair look like a potato?
No? Well,
Okay.
beanbag chairs always look kind of vaguely bean shaped because you sit in them and then they.
Okay, but is
Isn't
it
that
is it
also, like,
potato?
potato?
Is it potato colored though?
No, it's purple.
Okay, so not a potato.
Wait,
Yeah.
aren't some of the Harrison colors purple?
Yeah,
And?
they call it something like bruise or some shit like that.
Bruise?
Does it look bruised purple?
I mean, Tavik has been making eyes at you lately.
Oh my god!
No.
End
no,
that
not
line
like
of
that.
thought
No.
immediately.
Oh,
Not like that.
Damn.
Not like that.
Maybe
Not like that.
What exactly?
What else do
What
you
did you
like
mean by that then?
What?
How exactly were you supposed to mean that?
Okay,
Yeah.
y'all have seen Tavik looking at Shiv regularly, right?
We make eye contact. I'm making eye contact with you. Is that how you pick up girls? Is that what you've been doing? Just staring at them? Does that work?
I mean, I'm just gonna like stroke my beard. I mean, it does for me.
Oh, stop it.
That's
You made
so-
a
It's kind of
mistake.
creepy sounding.
That's
Oh.
so strange, actually. It's so weird.
What's happening?
I am
Anyway.
fucking with you. No, is this Tavik's idea of at least trying to do something nice?
I
Because
thought
it
it
seems
was
like the
gonna-
two of you.
Hotjaw walks up while you are saying all of this and just sort of like smacks you on the ass. Keep it smoldery, Ethan.
I'm gonna give him just like a quick like, how you doing?
Hey! Are you in Hotjaw? Is that
I mean, I could see that. I could see
can see
that.
that.
Look,
At
he's
this
got the
rate, hot
mustache.
dog,
I've got the beard. We
everybody.
complement each other really well. You know.
I mean, it's a struggle for dominance, and I'm like that. That's a fact. Anyway, honey, food. We were going to get food.
I'm getting
Sorry.
coffees. Who wants one?
I don't
That
know.
is
I'm
part
just
of
all kind of
food.
confused at this point about who's doing what. But yeah, let's get something to eat.
I don't think I comprehended any of that conversation. I'm gonna. I don't know. Bye.
Okay, look. Here, okay. Apparently, I can't speak. I just think that based on the color of your gift, I think Tavik got it for you because the two of you are forming some kind of connection. Not romantic. Not romantic.
Okay. All right.
Wow.
So, hey, you could have just said, hey, maybe he's trying to do a friendly thing. Maybe he's trying to make actual friends.
I don't know if Tavik
Instead
knows
of-
how to do
because
friendly.
Because he looked at you, is what you said.
Yeah.
You know, he's been making eyes at you, which is
Yeah, you specifically said making eyes, which was really. There's only one way to take that, Advin. I appreciate the thought. Do you? But I mean, it's just. Does it have to be? So wait, somebody show me the color of purple that I'm supposed to be looking for.
No, the same color.
is there hairs? Is there hairs in something somewhere?
I'm gonna
Really?
Google it.
There is always
Okay.
Oh, the
strip
lipstick.
Yeah, he always has the one bar.
Okay, I know this is going to be weird, and especially coming off of the making eyes at you thing. Have you ever looked at their lips? The little strip.
Oh, the lipstick.
Little-
Yeah.
Yeah, lipstick.
Oh, that color.
Ooh,
Yeah, you know, looks like he'd been
Is-
eating too many
is
grapes or
it?
something.
is it that color?
It is that
It is
color.
that color. Ooh,
Ugh.
Oh,
Hey, you're-
Tavik got
you're
you a
friends.
present.
I mean, to be fair, I did call him Tav, so we are friends now. They
I know, but
don't
he
like
hated
it.
it. He
They
made
don't
that
like
face.
it.
It's
It's
it
true,
was a
but
lot.
I'm still gonna do it from time to time, just until they get used to it.
Incredible. Well, they got me a beanbag chair. It's great. It has charging ports on it.
Damn.
I know. Cool. Okay. Nobody be weird. Nobody be weird. Especially not to Tavik. Don't be
Chev,
weird. What?
have you met me?
Ah, you're gonna make this so much worse.
He literally just said
Biggest
that Tavik
shit-eating
made
grind.
eyes at you.
I know.
Yeah, he said Tavik made eyes at you, so it's already there. You know what I mean?
Tavik's gonna crawl into a hole and die about it if you said he was making eyes at me. You're gonna reverse like every step forward we've ever made, not including the step backwards. So it's just gonna put us into the negative so hard.
Tell him that. I'm just going to. Now I've got a new way to say it to you.
Oh my god. Right. We're getting coffee. We're done with this topic. I've decided.
All right.
That's the end of that.
The intercoms will slight static as the intercoms on the ship turn on. Lancers, please be prepared to receive updated briefing at 16:30 hours. That gives you approximately 2 hours to get yourself ready. Out.
Base got fun.
I feel like they forgot how to speak halfway through that.
It's been a long
That's alright,
trip,
it happens
man.
to me sometimes.
I mean, that's fair. Why say more words when less words work just as good?
Or you can do what I do and just shove your entire foot in your mouth.
But you do that so well.
It's a talent.
Do you give lessons?
Yeah, but it's like 500 mana a day.
Too rich for my blood.
Yeah.
Food.
Gotta be flexible, you know?
Plenty
Learn
flexible.
through observation.
That's Morgan. Mostly just said that to make Morgan blush, which is pretty great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Just awkward blush smile.
So I will say, I do have a question. For us getting down, are we being like taken down like in a transport ship, or are we having to kind of do what we did last time and come in from orbit?
Oh, no,
And our mechs.
this is not a hostile approach. You'll be landing in the transport.
Awesome.
Budamus.
All right, you guys can stretch, go get some food, go get some coffee, do a little exercise, whatever you need to do. And let's see, it is 10:30. I'd like to get an after show in. So I think, actually, we will save the updated briefing for our next session, which will be a good way to recap and bookend us starting our new mission off at Inico 4. So, as you all gather around in some sort of cafeteria table, continuing to chatter amongst yourselves, the camera will pull back through the ship, out of the hangar in the rear this time, and just pull back as we see the ship still relatively quickly decelerating towards Inico 4 as that bright green marble gets bigger and bigger. And that's where we're going to leave off for today's episode of the Starcrier Conflict. A lot of interesting developments today, folks. A lot of good little roleplay and a lot to consider going forward. You guys have gotten your initial briefing, and that came with its own complications and things to consider. And that's not even with the now updated briefing you will be receiving when we get back to this. So I'm gonna have we're gonna have some fun on this upcoming mission. It's gonna be something as I like to do, something we've not done before, something different, little different style mission for us in the securing of Inico 4. All right, well, that is all we have for tonight. Let's do a little sound off, actually, and I will hold anything I have to speak of for my end. Let's turn the music back to something a little more. There we go. All right, so we're ending a little bit, not that much earlier today, because you guys run with roleplay, and I love it. I adore it. So we're gonna go and try to get an after show in, but before that, let's see where you can find all of these lovely people doing all of the lovely stuff that they do on their own. Take it away.
Hi, I'm Sean. I play August Walker, he, him all around, pilot of Artemis. You can find me on Blue Sky at Rise, R-I-Z-E. You can also find me on Instagram under Raven Black Photography. Not much lately because life is busy a lot lately, but hopefully that should be slowing down here soon and I can actually start doing things again. But until then, I'll be here every Sunday.
Sweet. Hey, howdy, bye. My name is Haley. And you can find me all over the place at Haley Ann. But I'm also very, very excited to finally announce my friends and I are making a new thing. It is called Caltrop Chronicles. It's a little TTRPG actual play production studio that we're really excited about, and we're coming out with our first series, Misconnections, which Q is so fabulously in. Very stoked to have this on the record, and we're actually releasing. I got to see the fully edited episode about a week ago, and it's amazing. But yeah, so you can catch that at CaltropCron on Twitter, and you can follow me, and I will be constantly sounding off my own creations for a while now. And you can catch the release of Misconnections on YouTube and Spotify on August 12th. Anyways. Yes.
Hey everyone, I'm Q. I play Mr. Logan Uhura. Both of us are he, him. I remembered. Again, I'm so proud of me. Everyone clap. Thank you so much. When you don't see me here, typically on time, you can see me pretty much everywhere on the internet at Midnight Inc. That is Midnight_INQ. Q is my name. I'm sure you get it. Say it with me. Save a horse, ride a cowboy. I keep making cowboys. Let's see, what's next? They Call Us Villains over on Entropy Emporium is up next. That is going to be Tuesday, starting at 8-ish o'clock. I'm playing the saddest, angiest boy, Mr. Connor Creed, who has just officially been like, hey, we should work together. So that's been fun. And then I think the next after that is going to be Class Reunion on Saturday over at Live from the Apocalypse. I'm also part of the production team with Drake Lionheart over at Tales from the Table Studios. We have things in the works. They keep being in the works. We're going to be able to talk about them soon. I swear to God. But yeah, that's it for your boy.
I'm Andrew. I've been playing Athen Call Sign Blacksmith. He hems all around. I am that gamer Ajax on all of the interwebs. I primarily focus on threads these days. I run a YouTube channel where I try to give first impressions on games that I've been trying out, tips and tricks, guides. I want to help you be the best tabletop enthusiast that you can be. I've been a little inconsistent on posting because life has also been a little nuts on my end, but we are getting there. I think that's about all I've got, so I'm just going to go ahead and throw it over to Drake. Lion. Oh my God. Yeah. I feel so... Reverse it. Throw it to Lion.
We'll edit it in post.
My brain is mush.
Hey, y'all. It's Drake Lionheart. Most people call me Lion. I use they, he pronouns. I'm the creative director for Tales from the Table Studios. It started as a charity event, has grown into an amazing actual play studio with a wonderful community of storytellers, players, world builders, game designers, and more. Like you said, we've got some stuff in the works right now. We can't announce it just yet. I'm really hopeful in the next 2 weeks we will have a little something we can talk about. If not, probably the week after that, but we'll see. Life is lifing, and that's how it is sometimes. I'm also a professional GM. You can hire me to run games for you and your friends. You can find me at the Lion Knight 42 on all socials. Yeah, and that's me.
Awesome. A lot of great stuff from a lot of great people. And I am looking forward to seeing what you guys come up to. A lot of exciting new projects. So let's see. What do we got? What do we got coming up with me? And here on RPGs Uncovered, actually a couple things that I'm excited to talk about. It's been a while since we've done anything here on this channel on Thursdays, since we wrapped up our Baldur's Gate 3 playthrough. But if everything goes well, I'll pause there with an asterisk. If everything goes well, we should have a new show coming out not this next Thursday, but the Thursday after it, as me and the cast of formerly Behind These Eyes gets back together for a short mini-series of The Quiet Year, which is a sort of world-building, world histories building game. And fun little tie-in, it's going to be a planet in the Starcrier setting. A planet we may get to. We're building it live, folks. So
or the
join us.
Starcriers get there first.
Unless the Starcriers get there first. I'm not ruling that out. We'll see what happens during our few episodes of The Quiet Year. But we should be starting that. Again, asterisk, should be starting that on the 15th. Probably 7 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, our normal time slot. But stay tuned for... stay tuned for next episode, where I will most likely have more updated information, and come hang out with us on the socials. We got the Twitter, we got the threads, and of course we have our Discord. So plenty of ways to keep apprised of what we are doing. But we have that coming up on Thursdays. Some Tuesdays, sometimes I'm over with our friends at Veil of the Void for the Butterfly Effect. So go check them out. Again, fabulous. Wonderful creatives over there. Really fun game. If you were here for the intro, you've seen the little advert I put together for them. They're a supporter of the show, but I've been a big fan of them and their game long before they actually started sponsoring us. So go check that out. Really fun, really cinematic, very high action science fantasy setting and rule set over there. A lot of cool stuff that you can do with it. Other than that, I will be rejoining the Lost Caravan once again for their upcoming Cthulhu Week, which is really fun. The Caravan of Cthulhu Week they are doing. And that is going to be not this upcoming week, but the week after that. I believe that runs either the 10th or 11th through the following weekend.
I believe it starts on the 10th. Okay.
Nice. Yeah, they got a lot of really awesome shows over there. Managed to get myself into one of them. They got Cthulhu. They got... I applied for a bunch of them, but I don't have access to that.
I can't remember exactly what all, but yeah, there was like 5. There was a bunch of different...
There's a whole bunch of really good stuff.
Yeah, and it's a charity thing. So every one of those shows that we're doing over there is going to be for charity, donations and stuff like that. I don't know off the top of my head what charity it is this year, but it's always something really good. I believe this one, because the theme this time had to do with the natural world and natural places. So it's something along those lines.
I managed to pull it up. This will be supporting the Palestine Child's Relief Fund.
There we go. That one.
Excellent cause. Something I can definitely get behind. So tune in. That is August 10th through the 17th. Their second annual Caravan of Cthulhu Week. A week full of twisted horrors of various different games. Lots of cool stuff to look forward to, supporting a very important charity right now. And let's see. I'm quickly skimming over this. Yeah, they are even doing prizes, giveaways for anyone who donates. If I'm reading this correctly. They have a bunch of fantastic prizes this year as donations from a number of fantastic companies and members of the TTRPG community. So come watch the shows over on Lost Caravan. Drop whatever you can support in the cup and maybe win something cool. So I'm looking forward to that. What I will be on, that is a Call of Cthulhu game on Friday the 16th, I believe, at 8 p.m. So I get to be an old icebreaker boat crewman. I'm gonna have real fun with that. All right. I think that is all I have coming up. However, and I've rambled on long enough. So we are going to take. We're going to close out the stream, but. Hopefully we will go make another after show. It's been a bit for anybody who supports us on our Ko-Fi. I apologize. We've had a week off. We had a lot of really intense episodes, so we have some things to talk about. It's been a bit, but we're gonna get an after show in hopefully this episode. We'll see. But go check out the Ko-Fi anyway. We got some cool stuff on there. I believe we have the playlists on there, but I will double check. And anytime I come out with some cool handouts for this show, I drop them on there as well. So once we get at least most of the way through this upcoming mission, I will be able to drop some more information on the Inico system and the jungle biomatter harvesting world of Inico 4. And of course, anything we get from there, I like to send back into the indie TTRPG to work with artists and musicians and other writers and performers and really anybody I can afford with the support over there to help increase the production value of this show and to give back to the indie TTRPG community, because we're all working together at the same thing. We might as well all work together and have fun together. Also, another shout out to Galen Pajot for our wonderful art. I am looking forward to even more. And that shouldn't sound menacing at all. Thank you for watching another episode of the Starcrier Conflict. We will be back next week for another one in the beginning of our new mission arc. Thank you for watching. Everybody stay safe, stay healthy, keep having fun, keep checking back here for more Starcrier Conflict. And when you wake up from a 7-year nap, I'm sure you're going to be craving a nice, delicious spread of heart tomatoes. Happy time zone, folks. Catch you next week.